The cosmos is vast beyond comprehension, filled with warriors who have never met, technologies that have never clashed, and honor codes that have never been tested against one another. For centuries, the Yautja, the predators, have scoured galaxies seeking the ultimate hunt, the worthiest prey, the most dangerous trophies. They have stalked worlds innumerable, claiming skulls from 1,000 species. But they have never encountered a war like the one raging across the Orion Arm in the year 2552. They have never faced prey like the Spartans. They have never witnessed devastation like the Covenant's Holy Crusade. And they have never imagined horror like the Flood. When predator hunting ships detect energy signatures of unprecedented warfare spanning dozens of star systems, the greatest hunt in Yautja history begins. But in the Halo universe, the line between hunter and hunted is written in plasma fire and blood. If you want to see more crossover battles and unexpected universe collisions, hit that subscribe button and drop the name of a character in universe you'd want to see in the comments below. Let's explore the infinite together. The Yautja mothership Satanu's gaze dropped from hyperspace at the edge of the Epsilon Eridani system, its hull scarred by centuries of interstellar hunting expeditions. Inside the vessel's trophy chamber, Elder Predator Hachak stood before holographic displays showing worlds turned to glass, energy signatures of weapons fire that dwarfed anything in the Yautja database, and biosigns of warriors whose combat patterns defied conventional analysis. Korah? Hachak clicked in the Predator language, his mandibles spreading in what passed for a grin among his species. A war of such magnitude. The gods smile upon us. Around him, 15 elite predators of Clan Headlack prepared their equipment with ritualistic precision. Each warrior bore scars from hundreds of successful hunts across dozens of worlds. Their biomasks gleamed with polished bone trophies, their plasma casters hummed with lethal charge, and their wrist blades extended and retracted with mechanical precision. These were not young bloods seeking first kills. These were apex hunters who had claimed xenomorph queens, synthetic warriors, and creatures whose very existence defied rational explanation. The holographic display shifted, focusing on a planet designated Reach by the indigenous species. Energy readings showed a conflict of apocalyptic scale. Plasma bombardment from orbit, nuclear detonations, and combat patterns indicating warriors of extraordinary capability. The prey here fights with honor, observed Predator Kavar, his thermal vision analyzing recorded battle footage. They do not flee. They do not surrender. Even when facing annihilation, they stand and bleed. The footage showed armored figures, humans according to the database, engaging alien warriors in close combat. But these were not ordinary humans. Their movements were too fast, their strength too great, their tactical coordination too perfect. One warrior, designated Spartan B312 by intercepted transmissions, killed 3 alien soldiers in under 2 seconds, with nothing but hand-to-hand strikes that shattered energy shields and alien exoskeletons. Hachak's mandibles clicked in approval. Record these warriors. They will be our primary prey. The Predator database had been compiling information since their sensors first detected this universe's conflict. 2 major factions dominated the war: the United Nations Space Command, humanity's desperate military alliance, and the Covenant, a theocratic collection of alien species united in religious fervor. Between them, hundreds of worlds burned. But the data that truly captured Yautja attention was the existence of Spartans, human warriors augmented beyond natural limits, clad in armor that enhanced already superhuman abilities, and trained from childhood to be perfect soldiers. The database showed Spartans surviving falls that should pulverize organic beings, lifting vehicles that massed several tons, and displaying reaction times measured in milliseconds. These Spartans, Kavar analyzed, reviewing footage of a green-armored warrior punching through a Covenant elite's shields and skull in a single motion. They are bred for war, raised as weapons. They know nothing but combat. Then they will understand our purpose, Yautja responded. We hunt the greatest warriors the cosmos provides. If these Spartans are truly apex predators of their species, claiming their skulls will bring honor that echoes through generations. The Predator Elder activated the ship's deployment protocols. Smaller hunting vessels detached from Satanu's gaze, each carrying 3 to 4 predators toward different combat zones. The strategy was ancient and proven. Insert hunting parties into active war zones, observe prey behavior, identify worthy targets, and claim trophies that would justify the hunt. Yautja's own hunting party, consisting of himself, Kavar, and a young elite named Yautja, would deploy to a world the humans called Sigma Octanus IV. Intelligence indicated recent Covenant attacks and UNSC defensive operations. The planet's jungles and urban environments provided ideal hunting terrain. As their ship broke atmosphere, Yautja performed the traditional weapon check. His plasma caster charged to full capacity, energy readings nominal. His wrist blades extended with perfect mechanical precision, each blade monomolecular sharp, capable of slicing through most known alloys. His combistic collapsed and extended smoothly, the weapon's balance perfect for both melee and thrown attacks. You have studied the prey, Yautja asked the younger predator. Yes, Elder. The humans are fragile. Their unaugmented forms break easily. But their technology compensates. They use projectile weapons that can penetrate our mesh armor if we are careless. Their AI constructs monitor battlefield communications and can predict tactical movements. And their special warriors, these Spartans, possess strength and speed, approaching our own. Good. Respect the prey, or the prey will claim you. The hunting vessel engaged its cloaking field as it descended through cloud cover. Sigma Octanus IV sprawled below, a colony world with cities carved into jungle terrain, now burning from Covenant plasma bombardment. The Predator's thermal imaging showed thousands of heat signatures. Human soldiers retreating from overwhelming Covenant forces, alien warriors pressing the attack, and scattered pockets of intense resistance where the humans refused to break. Yautja designated a landing zone near the largest concentration of human forces. We observe first, learn their tactics, identify the strongest among them. Only then do we strike. The ship touched down in dense jungle 3 kilometers from active combat. The moment the boarding ramp lowered, all 3 predators activated their cloaking devices, becoming nearly invisible ripples in the humid air. They moved with practiced silence through the undergrowth, their biomasks filtering through multiple vision spectrums, thermal, electromagnetic, ultraviolet, building a complete picture of the battlefield ahead. The sounds of war reached them first. The distinctive crack of human projectile weapons, the whine of Covenant plasma rifles, the screams of dying soldiers from both sides. Then the smell, burnt ozone, scorched flesh, Promethean accelerant from human explosives. And finally, the sight of battle itself. A UNSC firebase occupied a hilltop clearing, prefabricated defensive walls already cratered by plasma strikes. Approximately 60 human soldiers, Marines, the database identified, held the position against twice as many Covenant forces. Alien warriors in various forms pressed the attack. Towering hunters with fuel rod cannons, nimble jackals with energy shields, and elites in golden armor directing the assault with tactical precision. But what captured Yautja's attention was the figure moving through the battlefield like death incarnate. A Spartan. The warrior stood 7 feet tall in green Mjolnir armor, an assault rifle in one hand and a combat knife in the other. As the predators watched, the Spartan killed a Covenant elite with brutal efficiency, 3 rounds through the energy shield to collapse it, followed by the knife driven through the alien's throat. The entire engagement lasted 1.3 seconds. Magnificent, Kavar clicked quietly. The Spartan moved with purpose, directing Marine fire teams with hand signals, throwing grenades with pinpoint accuracy, and personally engaging any Covenant warrior that breached the defensive perimeter. This was not mindless violence. This was a master warrior operating at peak efficiency. Hachok's biomask analyzed the Spartan's armor. Energy shielding similar to Covenant technology. Reinforced titanium alloy, approximately 50 millimeters thick. Integrated targeting systems, strength-enhancing servos. And beneath it all, a human augmented beyond natural capability. "We have found worthy prey," the elder predator declared. "But we do not strike yet. This one commands respect. We will observe the full extent of their capability before we challenge them." The battle raged for another 20 minutes. The Spartans and Marines held their position despite overwhelming numbers, extracting a horrific price from the Covenant attackers. When a Covenant dropship attempted to deploy reinforcements, the Spartan destroyed it with a perfectly thrown grenade into the ship's troop bay. An impossible shot that spoke to superhuman spatial awareness and reflexes. As the Covenant forces finally withdrew, the 3 predators remained hidden, watching the Spartan coordinate casualty evacuation and defensive reinforcement. The warrior moved with mechanical efficiency, showing no signs of fatigue despite the intense combat. "This one has killed hundreds," Daje observed. "Perhaps thousands. You can see it in every movement, every decision. This is a weapon forged in endless war." Hachok's mandibles spread in fierce approval. "Then claiming this trophy will bring honor beyond measure. We have found our hunt." The predators shadowed the UNSC firebase for 3 days, observing patterns, learning routines, and identifying vulnerabilities. Hachok insisted on this patience. Rushing a hunt against unknown prey was how young bloods died. The Spartan, designated Spartan 117 by intercepted communications, operated with a consistency that bordered on mechanical. Morning patrol at 600 hours, tactical briefings at 800, combat drills with Marine squads at 1200, evening perimeter checks at 1900. Between these scheduled activities, the warrior maintained equipment, reviewed intelligence reports with the base AI, and coordinated with orbital UNSC forces. But it was during combat that the Spartan truly revealed their capabilities. On the second day of observation, a Covenant strike force attacked at dawn. 30 warriors led by 2 golden-armored elites. The predators watched from their concealed position as Spartan 117 turned the ambush into a slaughter. The warrior moved through the battlefield with preternatural awareness, dodging plasma fire that should have been impossible to track with organic reflexes. When an elite charged with an energy sword, the Spartan sidestepped at the last possible millisecond, grabbed the alien sword arm, and used the elite's own momentum to drive the blade through its companion's chest. The armor predicts trajectories, Kavar analyzed through his biomask's sensors. But the warrior's reactions are faster than the technology. The human inside is extraordinary. Hachok clicked in agreement. The Spartan's combat awareness reminded him of hunts on LV-426, where xenomorph queens demonstrated similar battlefield omniscience. But those were hive mind organisms operating on instinct. This was a trained warrior making tactical decisions in microseconds while executing physical maneuvers that defied human limitations. On the third night, opportunity presented itself. Spartan 117 departed the firebase alone on a reconnaissance patrol, moving through the jungle with purpose. Intercepted communications indicated the warrior was investigating Covenant supply routes 3 kilometers north, a solo mission that would take the Spartan beyond support range. "Now," Hachak commanded, "we test this prey's worth." The 3 predators activated their cloaking fields and paralleled the Spartan's route, maintaining distance while their biomasks tracked the warrior's heat signature through dense foliage. The human moved with surprising stealth for something so heavily armored, but even Mjolnir's sound-dampening systems couldn't eliminate the faint servo whine of the suit's movement assist motors. After 2 kilometers, the Spartan stopped. Simply stopped in the middle of the jungle and turned slowly in a complete circle. Hachak felt a thrill of anticipation. The prey sensed something. Not specific danger, the cloaking was too effective. But some instinct warned the warrior of threat presence. The Spartan's hand moved to the assault rifle maglocked to their back, and a female voice crackled over the armor's external speakers. "Motion trackers are picking up anomalies. 3 contacts, 15 meters, pattern suggests active tracking." An AI. The humans had integrated artificial intelligence into their armor systems. Hachak's mandibles twitched in annoyance. The motion trackers were detecting their movement despite the cloaking. The technology was more sophisticated than anticipated. "Show yourself," the Spartan commanded, voice amplified by helmet speakers. "I know you're there." Dajé shifted position, moving to flank, and the Spartan's helmet snapped toward the younger predator's location with inhuman speed. The assault rifle came up, tracking the invisible threat. Thermal and electromagnetic anomalies confirmed. The AI continued. "Recommendation: fall back to firebase and request support." The Spartan didn't retreat. Instead, the warrior primed a fragmentation grenade and hurled it precisely at Kavar's position, a throw that should have been impossible without visual confirmation. Kavar dove aside as the grenade detonated, shrapnel pinging off trees and tearing through undergrowth. Hachak clicked the attack command. All 3 predators deactivated their cloaking simultaneously, shimmering into visibility around the Spartan in a triangular formation. For a moment, the warrior assessed the situation with the same mechanical calm they displayed in every other scenario. 3 hostile, unknown entities. Equipment indicating advanced technology. Tactical positioning suggesting coordinated attack. Then the Spartan attacked. The warrior moved faster than Hachak had observed in previous battles, closing distance with Dajé in 3 massive strides. The younger predator raised his combistic, but the Spartan grabbed the weapon mid-thrust, twisted with leverage that incorporated the armor's full servo strength, and tore the combistic from Dajé's grip. A palm strike to the predator's chest sent Dajé crashing backward into a tree with enough force to crack the trunk. Kavar fired his plasma caster, a bolt of superheated energy that would incinerate most organic targets. The Spartan's shields flared brilliant blue, absorbing the hit. But the energy overload dropped the shields to critical levels. Before Kavar could fire again, the Spartan had crossed the distance between them, moving with speed that approached predator reflex levels. Hachak intercepted, his wrist blades extending as he struck at the Spartan's unshielded armor. The monomolecular edges screeched across titanium alloy, leaving shallow gouges but not penetrating. The Spartan responded with an elbow strike that caught Hachak in the mandibles, a blow that would have shattered human bone but merely staggered the predator elder. "Contacts are engaging in close combat," the AI reported with disturbing calm. Structural analysis indicates silicon-based exoskeletons, advanced cloaking technology, energy-based weaponry. Recommendation: these are not Covenant forces, unknown species. The Spartan fought all three predators simultaneously, and for 30 seconds it was a genuine contest. When Yautja recovered and lunged with his wrist blades, the Spartan deflected with the captured combistic. When Kavar attempted another plasma shot, the warrior used Hachak as a shield, forcing the predator to abort the shot. And when Hachak himself tried to close for a killing strike, the Spartan's superhuman strength proved sufficient to grapple even a predator warrior. But 3 against 1 was mathematics no amount of skill could overcome. Hachak feinted high, Kavar struck low, and when the Spartan committed to blocking the Elder's attack, Kavar's wrist blade pierced the armor's undersuit at the knee joint. It wasn't a crippling blow. The blade scraped against the Spartan's augmented bone and was deflected, but it was first blood. The Spartan immediately disengaged, dropping a smoke grenade and retreating with tactical precision. The predators could have pursued, their biomasks cut through smoke with thermal imaging. But Hachak raised a fist, commanding a halt. "Let the prey run," he clicked. "We have learned what we needed." Yautja's mandibles quivered with frustrated bloodlust. "We had them. Why do we not claim the trophy?" "Because that warrior injured you with our own weapon, fought all 3 of us simultaneously without dying, and retreated only after analyzing our capabilities," Hachak explained. "This prey thinks, adapts, learns. If we had pressed the attack, the warrior might have called for support, and we would face unknown reinforcements." Kavar retrieved his plasmacaster scoring from where the Spartan had dodged. The Elder is correct. That human fought with honor and skill. They earned the right to live. For now. Hachak examined the blood on Kavar's wrist blade. A few drops of crimson human blood, mixed with traces of some chemical compound the predator database couldn't immediately identify. He collected it in a small vial for analysis. "We return to the ship, study this blood, learn what augmentations make these Spartans so formidable, and plan a proper hunt." As they moved through the jungle toward their cloaked vessel, Yautja asked the question that troubled all 3 predators. "Elder, have you ever encountered prey like this? Warriors who could fight multiple hunters simultaneously?" Hachak was silent for several seconds before responding. "Once, on a world the humans called LV-426, the Black Serpents, xenomorphs. But they were mindless killers driven by biological imperative. These Spartans, they are thinking weapons, bred and trained and augmented to be perfect soldiers. Then they are the ultimate prey," Kavar stated. "Yes," Hachak agreed, mandibles spreading in anticipation. "Which means claiming their skulls will bring honor that legends are built upon. But we must be smarter, faster, more prepared. That warrior now knows we exist and will warn others. The humans will adapt their tactics. This hunt has truly begun." Back at the fire base, Spartan 117 stood in the command center while medics sealed the knee wound with biofoam. The injury was minor. The blade had scraped bone but caused no structural damage. Around the Spartan, Marine officers stared at helmet cam footage showing the 3 cloaked attackers. "What the hell are those things?" a Marine captain demanded. "Unknown hostile species," the Spartan responded. "Bipedal, approximately 7 feet tall, advanced technology including active camouflage and energy weapons. They're not Covenant. Different body structure, different tactical doctrine, and they hunt." "Hunt? You mean they attacked you specifically?" The Spartan replayed the footage. highlighting how the three unknowns had tracked the patrol route, maintained observation distances, and only engaged when isolated from support. They were testing me, measuring my capabilities. This wasn't an assassination attempt. It was reconnaissance through combat. The AI construct Cortana materialized on the command center's holotank, her avatar flickering with analytical processing. I'm detecting similar energy signatures across 5 other UNSC positions. Whatever these things are, there are more of them. And Chief, they chose to let you live. That footage shows multiple opportunities for kill shots they deliberately didn't take. The Spartan was silent, considering the implications. An enemy that tested opponents before killing them, that fought with what appeared to be honor-based tactics, that possessed technology comparable to Covenant advances but entirely different design philosophy. We're in someone's hunting ground, the Spartan concluded, and we just became the prey. The blood sample yielded answers that both impressed and concerned the predators. Hachak stood in the medical bay of Setanu's gaze, examining the holographic analysis of Spartan 1-17's blood with growing respect. The human's augmentations were extensive. Carbide ceramic ossification that made bones nearly unbreakable, muscular enhancement that provided strength 5 times normal human baseline, catalytic thyroid implant that boosted reflexes to near predator levels, and occipital capillary reversal that improved visual processing speed. They take children, Kavar observed, reading the genetic markers that indicated the augmentations occurred during adolescence. Train them from youth, break their bodies and rebuild them as weapons. It is not unlike our own traditions. But without choice, Daje noted. Yautja younglings prove themselves through voluntary trials. These humans were conscripted, forced to become warriors. Hachak's mandibles clicked thoughtfully. Which makes them more dangerous. They know no other life. War is not their profession. It is their entire existence. He studied the chemical compounds in the blood, identifying the biofoam the humans used for rapid wound sealing and combat stimulants that would kill an unaugmented human, but merely enhanced Spartan performance. This Spartan 117, the other humans call them Master Chief, a title of respect, of command. We encountered not just any Spartan, but perhaps their greatest warrior. The revelation pleased Hachak immensely. If the Yautja were to claim honor from this hunt, it should be against the best prey available. Killing lesser warriors brought lesser glory. Reports from other hunting parties across the sector filtered through the mothership's communication systems. The results were mixed. On the colony world Meridian, predator hunters had successfully claimed trophies from UNSC Marines, 3 skulls added to Clan Headlack's collection. But on Tribute, a hunting party had engaged a Spartan designated Spartan 043 and lost 2 warriors before retreating. The footage showed the Spartan using a Scorpion tank's main cannon to obliterate one predator at close range, then running down the second warrior and beating them to death with the tank's torn-off turret. The Spartans are not uniform prey, Hachak analyzed to his assembled hunting party. Each warrior possesses different specializations, different tactical preferences. Some favor ranged combat, others close quarters brutality. We must adapt to each individual. Daji was reviewing footage from another encounter. This one showing a Spartan designated Spartan 034, disabling a predator's cloaking device with an electromagnetic pulse, then tracking the visible hunter through thermal scope before eliminating them with a sniper rifle from 800 meters. They learn quickly, the young predator observed. After the first encounters, the humans began developing counter-tactics. EMP grenades to disable our cloaking, motion trackers to detect us despite invisibility, coordinated fire teams that prevent isolation of individual targets. As all worthy prey should, Hachak responded. A hunt without challenge brings no honor. We will adapt as they adapt. This is the dance of predator and prey, each evolving to overcome the other. Kavar brought up tactical maps of current conflict zones. The humans are losing their war against the Covenant. Their colonies fall one by one. They retreat, regroup, and delay the inevitable. Perhaps we should reconsider our primary targets. The Covenant themselves offer worthy prey. The Sangheili warriors, especially, demonstrate honor codes similar to our own. Hachak had been considering this exact question. Intelligence indicated the Covenant's warrior caste. The elites, as humans called them, were formidable combatants with their own complex honor system. Split-jawed mandibles, not unlike Yautja, energy swords, and martial prowess refined over centuries. Claiming an elite's skull would certainly bring honor. We will hunt both, Hachak decided. The humans prove themselves worthy through desperation and augmentation. The Sangheili through tradition and martial excellence. This war provides prey diversity unmatched in known space. The elder predator designated their next hunting ground, the planet Circumstance, where intelligence indicated a major uneasy defensive operation against Covenant invasion. Multiple Spartans were confirmed in the combat zone, along with Sangheili warriors leading Covenant ground forces. It would be a target-rich environment. 3 days later, the Predator hunting vessel descended through Circumstance's atmosphere toward the city of Asjad. The colony was in its final hours. Covenant cruisers bombarded from orbit, while ground forces swept through the city's industrial sectors. UNSC forces mounted a desperate evacuation, with Spartans holding critical choke points to buy time for civilian transport ships. Hachak's hunting party, now reinforced with 2 additional elite predators named Tharkun and Meiksway, deployed into an industrial complex where thermal signatures indicated intense combat. The plan was straightforward. Observe the battle between humans and Covenant, identify the strongest warriors on both sides, and claim trophies when opportunity presented. What they found exceeded expectations. A Spartan in steel gray armor held a warehouse complex against a full Covenant lance. Approximately 30 warriors, including 2 Sangheili ultras in white armor. The Spartan had transformed the warehouse into a killing field, using industrial equipment as cover and weapons, collapsing support structures to create barriers, and employing guerrilla tactics that systematically reduced the Covenant numbers. But it was the Sangheili ultras that truly captured the Predator's attention. These were not the standard Covenant warriors they'd observed previously. These elites moved with fluid grace, their energy swords crackling with lethal potential, their tactical coordination speaking to centuries of combat tradition. When one ultra identified the Spartan's pattern and flanked through a collapsed section of wall, the maneuver was executed with martial artistry. The Spartan and the ultra met in close combat. Mjolnir armor against energy shields, human augmentation against alien strength, combat knife against energy sword. For 10 seconds, they were perfectly matched. Each strike countered, each movement anticipated. Then the Spartan feinted left, rolled right, and drove the combat knife through the Ultra's shield generator, shorting the protective field and leaving the elite vulnerable. The second Ultra roared in fury and charged, but the Spartan was already moving, using the dying elite's body as a shield before hurling the corpse at the charging warrior with enough force to stagger even a Sangheili. The Spartan closed the distance during that momentary disruption and ended the second Ultra with brutal efficiency. A calculated strike to the mandibles that shattered the alien's jaw, followed by a point-blank shotgun blast to the exposed torso. Magnificent, Tharkun clicked in admiration. The human fights with honor. No hesitation, no mercy, pure warrior focus. The remaining Covenant warriors, demoralized by the loss of their commanders, began to retreat. The Spartan didn't pursue, instead securing the warehouse's interior and coordinating with other uneasy forces over communications. Hachak made a decision. We take this one. Now, while separated from support. The 5 predators descended from their concealed positions in the warehouse's upper levels, cloaking fields active. They spread into a wide formation, ensuring no escape route remained open. Hachak had learned from the previous encounter. 5 against 1 provided overwhelming advantage, even against Spartan capabilities. But they hadn't accounted for the Spartans' AI. Chief, I'm detecting the same electromagnetic anomalies from your previous encounter, a male voice transmitted through the Spartan speakers. 5 contacts, multiple elevation levels, converging formation. They're here. The Spartan designated as Chief immediately activated a different combat mode. Instead of engaging, the warrior sprinted toward an exterior door, moving with the desperation of prey, finally recognizing superior predator presence. Hachak clicked commands. Kavar, Daje, cut off the exit. Tharkun, make sway, drive them toward the center. I will claim the trophy. The younger predators moved to execute the plan, but the Spartan had already analyzed the tactical situation. Rather than running for the obvious exit, the warrior turned and sprinted toward an industrial lift system, triggering the emergency ascent while firing behind to discourage pursuit. Tharkun fired his plasma caster, the superheated bolt striking the lift's support cable. Metal shrieked as the cable frayed, but the lift continued rising, carrying the Spartan toward upper levels. The warrior had already identified a secondary escape route. This one learns too quickly, Mei Sui observed. They anticipated our tactics. Hachak deactivated his cloaking and roared a challenge, a Yautja war cry that echoed through the warehouse. You cannot run forever, warrior. Face us with honor. To the elder predator's surprise, the Spartan's response came through helmet speakers. I've faced worse than you. Come and die. The defiance pleased Hachak. Prey that accepted inevitable death with courage deserved respect. Then we hunt. The 5 predators pursued the Spartan through the warehouse's upper levels, a deadly game of cat and mouse through industrial machinery and structural frameworks. The human used every tactical advantage, dropping explosive barrels on pursuing predators, collapsing walkways to slow pursuit, even using the warehouse's automated systems against them. When Daje got too close, the Spartan turned and engaged with hand-to-hand combat, demonstrating the same brutal efficiency seen in previous battles. The young predator managed 3 strikes before the Spartan dislocated his shoulder with a leverage throw that incorporated Mjolnir armor's full strength. Only Kavar's intervention prevented Daje from suffering more severe injuries. They're toying with us, Kavar realized, drawing out the hunt, waiting for something. Hachak understood a moment too late. The Spartan wasn't running. They were leading the predators into a kill zone. The warehouse's upper level opened onto an external platform where a UNSC Pelican dropship hovered, its chain gun already spinning up. Scatter, Hachak commanded, activating his cloaking just as the Pelican's gun opened fire. Armor-piercing rounds tore through the platform, shredding metal and forcing all 5 predators into defensive positions. The Spartan used the covering fire to board the dropship, turning to face the predators one final time before the craft banked away. The warrior raised a fist in what might have been respect or defiance. Hachak couldn't determine which. Then the Pelican disappeared behind the city's skyline, carrying its precious cargo to safety. Tharkun's mandibles clicked in frustration. We had them cornered. No, Hachak corrected, watching the dropship's exhaust trail fade. We were the ones being herded. That Spartan sacrificed position to lure us into an ambush. Used our own hunting instincts against us. The elder predator felt something he hadn't experienced in decades of hunting. Genuine excitement. This Master Chief, they are not just a warrior. They are a tactician, a thinker who fights with both mind and body. Then how do we claim this trophy? Daji asked, clutching his dislocated shoulder. Hachak's mandibles spread in fierce anticipation. We stop hunting them as prey. We recognize them as what they truly are, a rival predator. And we show them the respect that such recognition demands. The next time we face the Master Chief, it will not be ambush or numbers. It will be single combat. Honor against honor. Warrior against warrior. Makesway clicked approval. And if we lose, then we die with honor, Hachak responded simply, as all true hunters eventually must. The Covenant warship Righteous Absolution hung in orbit above the planet Kolo, its plasma batteries systematically glassing the human colony below. On the ship's primary bridge, Shipmaster Ro Barutame observed the destruction with cold satisfaction. Another human world cleansed. Another step toward the great journey. The prophets would be pleased, but it was what happened next that changed the trajectory of the Yautja hunt. Predator hunter Kavar had been observing Covenant fleet movements for days, analyzing their military structure and identifying potential worthy prey. The Sangheili, these elites with their split mandibles and warrior culture, demonstrated behaviors remarkably similar to Yautja traditions. They valued honor in combat. They collected trophies from defeated enemies. They lived by codes of martial discipline that transcended simple survival instinct. When Kafar intercepted transmissions showing Covenant ground forces preparing to assault a fortified uneasy position on Kolo's southern continent, he saw an opportunity. Not to hunt humans this time, but to test these alien warriors who might understand the true nature of the hunt. The predator deployed alone, a deliberate choice. Hachak had granted permission for individual hunting parties to pursue targets of opportunity, and Kavar wanted to face a Sangheili warrior in single combat without interference. The landing zone was a ruined human city, now occupied by Covenant forces preparing for their next offensive. Kavar activated his cloaking and moved through the alien military encampment with practiced stealth, observing their operations. Grunt infantry huddled in groups, their methane tanks hissing, jackal snipers perched on elevated positions. Hunter pairs patrolled the perimeter with their fuel rod cannons. But it was the elites that commanded Kavar's attention. These warriors stood taller than humans, their split mandibles clicking in their own language as they coordinated tactical plans. They wore armor in various colors, blue for standard warriors, red for veterans, golden for commanders. Each carried energy swords or plasma rifles with the confidence of beings born to warfare. One elite in particular caught Kavar's interest, a warrior in crimson armor, standing apart from the others, performing what appeared to be a training ritual with his energy sword. The blade hummed through the air in precise patterns, offensive strikes, defensive parries, killing blows, all executed with the fluid grace of centuries of martial tradition. Kavar recognized a kindred spirit. This was not a soldier following orders. This was a warrior maintaining discipline through personal honor. The predator deactivated his cloaking 20 meters from the elite, shimmering into visibility with his arms spread wide. A gesture of challenge without immediate threat. The universal language of warriors seeking honorable combat. The elite's reaction was immediate. His energy sword ignited fully, both blades crackling with lethal plasma. Mandibles spread in a war cry, the alien's translator rendering his words into human English, the common language of this sector. "Demon, you dare approach Zel Marami with such insolence?" Kavar clicked a response, trusting his biomask's translator to convey meaning. "I am Kavar of Clan Hudlock, hunter of the Yautja. I seek combat with a worthy warrior. You demonstrate the signs of honor. I challenge you." The elite's posture shifted from immediate hostility to careful assessment. His mandibles moved in what might have been surprise or consideration. "You are not human, not covenant. What manner of creature invades this holy war?" "A hunter," Kavar responded simply. "Your species fights with honor codes I recognize. Your warriors claim trophies from defeated enemies. You value martial prowess above simple survival. We are not so different, Sangheili." Other Covenant warriors had noticed the confrontation. Grunts chittered nervously. Jackals raised their plasma pistols. But Zel Marami raised a hand, commanding them to hold position. "You know our species name. You have studied us, observed our traditions." The elite's mandibles clicked thoughtfully. "And now you seek single combat with me. Why?" "Because claiming the skull of a warrior without honor brings no glory. But defeating one who understands the true nature of combat, that is a trophy worth possessing." Zel Marami's mandibles spread in what Kavar recognized as approval. "You speak of honor while threatening to take my skull as a trophy? A curious philosophy. Is it so different from your own? Do the Sangheili not collect tokens from defeated enemies? Do you not seek glory through combat against worthy opponents?" The elite was silent for several seconds. Then, to Kavar's surprise, Zel Marami deactivated one blade of his energy sword and tossed a plasma rifle aside. "The gods have sent me a strange gift this day. Very well, hunter. You will have your combat. But know this, I have killed hundreds of humans in service to the prophets. I have claimed victory against their augmented warriors. And I will add your strange skull to my collection. Or I will claim yours," Kavar responded, extending his wrist blades and activating his combistic. "Let us discover which warrior's honor proves stronger." The two combatants circled each other, while the surrounding Covenant forces formed a perimeter. Not to interfere, but to witness. Kavar realized this was consistent with Sangheili culture. They valued martial excellence and would respect single combat between warriors. Zel Marami attacked first, his energy sword tracing a horizontal strike meant to bisect the predator at the waist. Kavar deflected with his combistic, the energy blade scoring along the weapon's reinforced shaft, but not severing it. The predator countered with a thrust aimed at the elite's exposed neck, but Sangheili's shields flared blue and absorbed the impact. "You rely on technology," Zel Marami observed. "Your armor, your shields. Without them, what are you?" "The same could be asked of you," Kavar responded, firing his plasma caster at point-blank range. The bolt struck the elite's shields, collapsing them entirely and forcing Zel Marami to roll aside as his shield generator struggled to recharge. The elite laughed, a deep, resonant sound. "Clever. You strip my protection while maintaining your own. But honor demands balance." Zel Marami proved his commitment by deliberately deactivating his shield generator. The light around his armor faded, leaving him as vulnerable as Kavar himself. Now we fight as warriors were meant to, skill against skill, without technological advantage. Kavar felt profound respect. This Sangheili understood honor in its purest form. The predator responded by deactivating his own plasma caster and relying solely on wrist blades and combistic. "Your honor is recognized, Zel Marami." Let us test which warrior earned their reputation. The second engagement was brutal poetry. Marami moved with fluid grace, his energy sword creating patterns of lethal light. Kavar countered with predator martial arts, brutal, efficient strikes designed to exploit vulnerabilities. The elite's blade cut shallow across Kavar's shoulder, drawing green blood. The predator's wrist blade scraped along the elite's armor, finding gaps and scoring alien flesh. They fought for 3 full minutes, neither gaining decisive advantage. The surrounding Covenant warriors watched in silence, transfixed by the display of martial excellence. This was combat elevated to art form, 2 apex predators testing each other's limits. Finally, both warriors disengaged simultaneously, breathing heavily, weapons ready, but not immediately attacking. "You are skilled," Marami acknowledged, his mandibles spread in what Kavar now understood as respect. "I have not faced a warrior of your caliber in many cycles. And you demonstrate why the Sangheili are worthy prey," Kavar responded. "But prey nonetheless." "Prey?" The elite's posture shifted. "You still see this as a hunt? I believed we fought as equals." "Can we not be both?" Kavar asked. "Equals in honor while adversaries in combat? The greatest hunts are those where predator and prey cannot be distinguished until the final blow." Marami considered this philosophy. "The humans have a saying, 'In war, all warriors are brothers in the moment before death.' Perhaps you and I stand in such a moment now." Before Kavar could respond, an explosion rocked the encampment. A UNSC strike force had launched a surprise assault. Warthog vehicles mounting chain guns, Marine fire teams with rocket launchers, and leading them, a Spartan in olive green armor. The moment of potential understanding between Predator and Elite shattered as the tactical situation changed. Covenant warriors scrambled to defensive positions. Grunts panicked and fled. Jackals raised their shields against incoming fire. Marami's entire demeanor transformed from contemplative warrior to military commander. "This conversation is finished, Hunter. My duty calls." "Wait," Kavar commanded. "The humans are common enemy to both our kinds. I propose alliance, temporary, until this threat is neutralized." The elite's mandibles twitched in what might have been amusement or shock. "You would fight alongside me? Against the very humans you came to hunt?" "I came to test Sangheili honor. You have proven it worthy. The humans interrupt our duel. Honor demands we remove the interruption before determining which of us claims victory." Marami's laughter was genuine this time. "The gods truly sent me something strange today. Very well, Yautja. We kill the humans together. Then we resume our duel. Agreed?" "Agreed." The alliance was immediate and devastating. Kavar reactivated his plasma caster and cloaking field, becoming invisible death that stalked through the battlefield. His shoulder-mounted weapon picked off Marines from concealed positions, while his wrist blades eliminated soldiers who strayed too far from their fire teams. Marami coordinated Covenant defensive positions while personally engaging the Spartan in close combat, his energy sword meeting Mjolnir armor in showers of sparks. The Spartan fought with characteristic efficiency, but facing combined Predator and Elite coordination proved overwhelming. When the warrior attempted to flank Covenant positions, Kavar intercepted with plasma fire. When the Predator moved to claim a kill, Marami's warriors provided covering fire. After 15 minutes of intense combat, the UNSC strike force retreated, their casualties too severe to maintain the assault. The Spartan extracted with them, but not before pausing to observe the impossible sight: a Predator and an Elite fighting in coordinated tactics. As the battlefield fell silent, Kavar and Zel Marami stood among the wreckage of destroyed vehicles and fallen warriors from all three species. "Our duel remains unfinished," the elite stated. "It does," Kavar agreed. "But I have learned what I came to discover. The Sangheili are worthy prey, yes. But more than that, you are worthy rivals. Equals who understand honor in ways even my own clan sometimes forgets." Zel Marami's mandibles clicked thoughtfully. "And what will you do with this knowledge, Hunter?" "Share it. Inform my people that the Sangheili deserve respect. That claiming your skulls brings honor, yes. But perhaps something more valuable exists. Recognition between warrior cultures. The prophets would call such sentiment heresy," Zel Marami said quietly. "They teach that all who stand outside the covenant are lesser, unworthy. But I have fought you, Kavar of Clan Hadlak, and I have seen truth the prophets deny." The two warriors stood in mutual understanding, neither friend nor simple enemy, but something more complex, adversaries who recognized each other's worth. "When next we meet," Zel Marami said, "I will not hesitate to kill you. My duty demands it. And I will claim your skull if opportunity presents," Kavar responded. "My honor requires it." "Then we understand each other perfectly." Kavar activated his cloaking and departed, leaving the elite standing among his surviving warriors. The predator carried something more valuable than any trophy. Knowledge that this universe contained warriors who truly understood what it meant to hunt and be hunted with honor. ONI, the Office of Naval Intelligence, operated in shadows even other UNSC branches couldn't penetrate. Section 3, the Black Ops Division responsible for technologies that officially didn't exist, had been tracking the unknown hostiles for 2 weeks. 3 separate encounters, 7 dead Marines, 2 injured Spartans, and now, finally, actionable intelligence. Commander Eliza Osaka stood in Oni's subterranean facility beneath Reach's Menashan Mountains, watching technicians analyze the corpse on the medical table. The creature was massive, 7 feet tall even in death, with reptilian features, mandibles split into 4 sections, dreadlock-like appendages, and technology integrated into armor that seemed biological and mechanical simultaneously. "We recovered this one from Tribute," Osaka briefed the assembled intelligence officers. Spartan 043 eliminated it, with sustained fire after the creature attempted to claim trophies from fallen Marines. Initial analysis suggests silicon-based biology, advanced metallurgy beyond current UNSC capabilities, and equipment including active camouflage superior to our prototypes. Dr. Catherine Halsey, creator of the Spartan 2 program, examined the creature's biomask with clinical interest. The optical systems are extraordinary. Multiple vision spectrums, thermal, electromagnetic, ultraviolet. And look at this. She indicated the creature's wrist gauntlet. Integrated plasma weapon system. Compact, efficient, and based on principles entirely different from Covenant technology. "Which means what?" Admiral Terrence Hood asked via holographic link from FleetCom headquarters. "Which means we're dealing with a third faction," Halsey explained. "Not human, not Covenant, something else entirely. And based on behavioral analysis from Master Chief's encounters, they're hunters. They track, test, and eliminate targets with precision that suggests cultural importance placed on the act of hunting itself." Osaka pulled up tactical footage from multiple engagements. "They've attacked UNSC positions across 7 colonies, always targeting our best warriors, Spartans specifically. They don't engage standard Marines unless necessary. They bypass civilian populations entirely, and they collect biological trophies, skulls specifically, from their kills." "Trophy hunters," Hood observed. operating during the middle of a war. Either they're incredibly opportunistic or incredibly stupid. Neither, Halsey corrected. They're incredibly capable. Look at the technology. She gestured to the disassembled equipment spread across analysis tables. This cloaking device operates on principles we've theorized but never implemented. This plasma weapon generates temperatures comparable to Covenant tech, but with 1/3 the power consumption. And this... She held up a small disc-shaped device covered in alien symbols. I have no idea what this does. The engineering is beyond our current understanding. An ONI technician interrupted. Commander Osaka, we've successfully activated one of the creature's recording devices. You'll want to see this. The holographic display shifted, showing footage from the dead predator's biomask perspective. The recording showed multiple hunts, Marines being stalked through jungle terrain, an ODST squad eliminated in darkness, and most disturbing, clear footage of Spartan 043 in combat, with the image paused and analyzed from multiple angles as if the creature was studying prey. They're learning our tactics, Osaka stated. Each engagement shows adaptation. After Master Chief used motion trackers to detect their cloaking, subsequent hunting parties maintained greater distances. After Spartan 034 used EMP weapons, they started deploying in pairs to provide backup if cloaking failed. They're not just hunters. They're intelligent, adaptive combatants. Halsey downloaded the biomask's data to her personal tablet. I'm detecting multiple unique genetic signatures in this recording. At least 12 different individuals from this species have been operating in UNSC space. This isn't a random incursion, it's an organized hunting expedition. Can we communicate with them? Hood asked. Establish some kind of protocol? Communication attempts have failed, Osaka reported. They don't respond to standard contact methods. But analysis of their behavior suggests a code of conduct. They don't kill wounded enemies who can't fight back. They don't target non-combatants. And in at least one recorded instance, a Spartan who fought well was allowed to retreat after demonstrating combat prowess. Halsey looked up from the data. They have honor codes, rules governing the hunt. That's both valuable intelligence and a potential vulnerability. Admiral Hood's hologram leaned forward. Commander Osaka, what's ONI's operational recommendation? Capture priority? Osaka stated immediately. These creatures possess technology that could shift the balance against the Covenant. If we can acquire intact examples of their cloaking systems, weapons, or, most valuable, a living specimen, we might gain advantages we desperately need. You want to capture one of these things alive? Hood's skepticism was evident. They've killed trained Marines, injured Spartans, and you want to trap one? Yes, sir. With appropriate preparation, I believe it's possible. What no one in the ONE facility knew was that Predator Elder Hachak was, at that precise moment, watching them from the ventilation shaft 30 meters above the main laboratory floor. His cloaking field rendered him invisible to human eyes and most sensor systems. And his biomask filtered their conversation through a translator that had been learning human languages since first contact. Hachak had tracked the human military transport carrying Kavar's corpse from tribute to this facility. Retrieving fallen clan members was sacred duty among Yautja. No hunter's body should be desecrated by prey. But infiltrating this underground complex had proven more challenging than anticipated. The humans had excellent security, multiple redundant systems, and AI constructs monitoring every corridor. Still, Hachak was an elite predator with decades of infiltration experience. He'd bypassed security through maintenance shafts, avoided patrols through patient observation, and now observed the humans examining his fallen clan member with growing anger and grudging respect. The female human, this Dr. Halsey, demonstrated remarkable intelligence. She understood Yautja technology's principles even without proper context, and the military commander recognized the threat predator hunters represented. These were dangerous prey, made more dangerous by their analytical capabilities. Hachak's mission was clear: retrieve Kavar's body and equipment, eliminate the facility's research data, and escape before human reinforcements could respond. But as he observed the humans' preparations, a tactical problem emerged. They were planning a trap, specifically designed to capture a predator alive. The military commander Osaka outlined the operation. "We'll use a Spartan as bait. Position them in an isolated location with apparent vulnerability. Wounded, separated from support, high-value target. When the hunters attack, we spring the trap. EMP nets to disable their cloaking, hard light barriers to contain them, tranquilizer systems calibrated for silicon-based biology. We take one alive and learn everything." "Which Spartan volunteers for this?" Halsey asked. "Spartan 117 has already expressed willingness," Osaka replied. "Master Chief believes these hunters respond to displays of combat prowess. If anyone can bait them into the trap, it's humanity's greatest warrior." Hachak's mandibles spread in dark amusement. The humans wanted to trap him specifically, the elder who had personally hunted the Master Chief twice already. They understood predator psychology well enough to know that a warrior who'd been challenged would return to claim that particular trophy. The question was, should Hachak warn his hunting parties, or should he turn the humans' trap against them? A true hunter would choose the latter. Hachak waited until the facility security shifted, a brief gap in patrol rotations precisely at 300 hours, then descended from his position. He moved with complete silence, approaching the medical table where Kavar's corpse lay desecrated by human examination. Samples taken, equipment removed, mandibles spread in undignified display. The elder predator placed one hand on his fallen clan member's forehead, a gesture of respect and promise. Then he activated the corpse's self-destruct mechanism, a bomb designed to destroy evidence and take enemies with it. 10 seconds. Hachak grabbed the most critical predator equipment, biomask, plasma caster, wrist gauntlets, and sprinted toward his planned exit route. Behind him, alarms blared as humans realized their security had been compromised. 5 seconds. Human soldiers poured into the laboratory, weapons raised. Dr. Halsey shouted orders to preserve the research data. Commander Osaka activated facility lockdown protocols. 0. The explosion vaporized Kavar's corpse and destroyed everything within a 15-meter radius. Research data, analysis equipment, biological samples, all obliterated in superheated plasma that melted through reinforced flooring. Hachak felt the shockwave's heat even as he climbed through ventilation shafts toward the surface, his cloaking field maintaining invisibility despite the chaos. Human security forces sealed exits and deployed scanner systems, but Hachak had planned his infiltration and exfiltration with surgical precision. By the time soldiers reached the ventilation system, the Predator Elder had already escaped into Reach's wilderness, carrying his fallen clan members' equipment and intimate knowledge of humanity's trap. 3 days later, Master Chief stood in the bombed-out ruins of an industrial complex on Circumstance, exactly where Oni's trap had been positioned. Hard-light barriers waited in concealment. EMP nets were charged and ready, tranquilizer systems loaded with silicon-based paralytic agents. And the Spartan played the role of wounded bait perfectly, moving slowly as if injured, weapon systems apparently damaged, separated from support by several kilometers. But the predators didn't attack. Hours passed, then days. Oni's carefully constructed trap sat empty while Covenant forces pressed their assault on other fronts. Commander Osaka monitored from orbital command, growing increasingly frustrated. "They know," Halsey concluded, reviewing the operation's failure. "Somehow, they discovered our plan and avoided the trap entirely." "How is that possible?" Osaka demanded. "The operational planning was classified at the highest levels." Halsey pulled up security footage from the destroyed Oni facility, specifically motion tracker data from the moments before the explosion. The trackers had registered anomalous readings in the ventilation system, brief flickers of movement that shouldn't have existed. One of them was inside our facility, Halsey realized, watching us plan the trap, possibly the same one that retrieved the corpse and destroyed our research. She looked at the frozen image of motion tracker anomalies. "We're not dealing with simple hunters. We're dealing with infiltration specialists who can bypass our best security. Warriors with intelligence-gathering capabilities comparable to Oni itself." Master Chief's voice came through the communications channel. "Then we're thinking about this wrong. We can't trap them. We can't predict them. So we need to change our tactical approach." "Recommendations?" Hood asked. The Spartan was silent for several seconds. "They want worthy prey, champions, challenges that prove their honor. So we give them exactly that, but on our terms. No ambushes, no traps. A direct challenge from one warrior to another. If their culture values honor in combat, they'll respect a formal duel. You want to challenge them to single combat?" Osaka sounded incredulous. "That's insane." "No," Master Chief replied. "That's tactical psychology. They've proven they can defeat our traps and avoid our ambushes. But everything we know about their behavior suggests they value direct combat above all else. I'm betting they'll accept a challenge if presented correctly." Halsey considered the proposal. "It's risky. But if we're going to acquire their technology or establish any kind of communication, we need to engage on terms they understand." Chief might be right. Honor-based challenge could work where tactical deception failed. Admiral Hood made the decision. "Authorization granted. Master Chief, you're cleared to issue formal challenge to these hunters. But Chief, make sure you win." "Always do, sir." What none of them knew was that Hachak was, once again, listening through infiltrated communication channels. The elder predator's mandibles spread in fierce approval. The humans understood. The Master Chief understood. This was how true warriors settled matters, not through ambush or deception, but through honorable combat. Hachak transmitted a response using captured human communication equipment, his translator rendering Yautja clicks into English. "Your challenge is accepted, Master Chief. 3 days. The ruins of Installation 04's replica facility. You and I, single combat, no interference. If you win, my clan departs your space. If I win, I claim your skull. Agreed?" There was a long pause before the Spartan responded. "Agreed. 3 days. No interference from either side." The hunt had evolved beyond simple predator and prey. This was now a duel between champions, with honor and survival balanced on the edge of plasma-forged blades. Installation 04, or what the Covenant called Halo, drifted through space like a god's abandoned toy. The massive ring structure, 10,000 kilometers in diameter, rotated gently against the backdrop of Threshold's gas giant, its surface covered in artificial environments ranging from temperate forests to frozen tundra. The installation was a weapon, though few in this conflict understood its true purpose. A galaxy-sterilizing device built by the ancient Forerunners to contain an enemy that transcended conventional warfare. The Flood. Predator hunting party Delta, consisting of warriors Tharkun, Meiswe, and young blood Chikte, deployed to Installation 04's surface 3 days before Hichak's scheduled duel with the Master Chief. Their mission was reconnaissance. Analyze the ring structure, identify potential hunting grounds, and determine if this ancient facility contained worthy prey beyond the humans and Covenant. What they found was nightmare incarnate. The hunting party landed in a swamp region designated by Forerunner records as Sector 0041 AZ. Immediately, Chikte's biomask registered anomalous readings, temperature fluctuations suggesting massive organic presence, electromagnetic signatures that didn't match any known species, and atmospheric contamination that indicated biological warfare agents. Something died here, Meiswe observed, her thermal imaging revealing heat signatures from decomposing biomass. Recently, hundreds of corpses, both human and Covenant. Tharkun analyzed the tactical situation. The area showed signs of intense combat. Weapons, discharge patterns, destroyed vehicles, defensive fortifications that had been overrun. But there were no living combatants, no survivors. Just bodies in various stages of decomposition and something else. Something that moved. The first infection form skittered into view. A grotesque creature the size of a human head, tentacles trailing beneath a bulbous central mass. Chikte tracked it with his plasma caster, about to fire, when Tharkun stopped him with a gesture. Observe first. Assess threat level. The infection form approached a dead human marine, then did something that violated every principle of natural biology. It latched onto the corpse, penetrating the skull with its tentacles, and the dead body convulsed. Bones cracked and reformed, flesh tore and reshaped, and within seconds, the corpse rose. No longer human, but a shambling horror with elongated limbs and a grotesque mass of tentacles erupting from its chest cavity. By Setanu, Meiswe whispered, using the Yautja name for death itself. What manner of prey is this? The transformed corpse. A combat form, according to Forerunner records the predators couldn't fully access. Moved with disturbing speed and purpose. It didn't hunt like an organic creature. It moved with the singular drive of something that existed only to spread, consume, and convert. Then the swamp erupted with hundreds more. Combat forms emerged from the murky water, from abandoned structures, from mass graves where Covenant and human forces had been discarded. Each one was a mockery of life. Corpses puppeteered by parasitic intelligence that cared nothing for individual survival, only collective propagation. Scatter formation, Tharkun commanded, immediately recognizing overwhelming numbers. Do not let them touch you. The three predators activated cloaking and separated, but the Flood demonstrated capabilities that defied standard combat doctrine. The infection forms didn't rely on visual tracking. They sensed heat, electromagnetic fields, even the carbon dioxide from Yautja respiration. Cloaking provided minimal advantage. Chikte fired his plasma caster, vaporizing 2 combat forms. But the infection forms that had animated those corpses simply detached and skittered toward new hosts. Meiswe's wrist blades severed a combat form's limbs, but the torso continued attacking using tentacles alone. Tharkun's combistic impaled a charging horror, but 3 more replaced it instantly. They don't die, Chikte clicked in rising panic. We destroy the body, but the parasite survives. Tharkun analyzed the tactical situation with cold precision. These were not prey. These were not even enemies in any traditional sense. These were a plague that violated the fundamental principles of Yautja hunting code. There was no honor in fighting the flood. No worthy trophy could be claimed from a parasite that wore corpses as armor. This was abomination that should not exist. "Retreat to the ship," Tharkun commanded. "This hunt is forfeit. No honor exists here." But the flood had already anticipated their escape route. Combat forms, including several made from Covenant elites, their split mandibles now twisted into grotesque weapons platforms, blocked the path to their landing zone. Carrier forms, bloated infection form incubators, waddled forward on stumpy legs, ready to explode and spread dozens of parasites in all directions. Mei Sui made the tactical decision that saved them. "The facility." She pointed to a forerunner structure rising from the swamp, a building that predated both Covenant and human civilizations. Ancient technology. It may have defense systems. The three predators sprinted toward the structure, their superior speed temporarily outpacing the flood horde. Behind them, hundreds of combat forms surged in pursuit, their numbers growing as they infected every corpse in the swamp. The flood didn't tire, didn't need to rest, would pursue until either the predators died or the parasites consumed everything. The Forerunner facility's entrance irised open, apparently responding to biological presence, and the predators rushed inside. Tharkun immediately searched for controls to seal the entrance, but the ancient technology used interfaces far beyond Yautja understanding. Holographic displays flickered with symbols from a dead civilization, and mechanical systems hummed with power that shouldn't exist after millennia of abandonment. Then a voice echoed through the facility. Artificial, ancient, and entirely too cheerful for the circumstances. "Oh my, visitors, how delightful. Though I must say, you've brought rather unpleasant company with you." A holographic construct materialized, a glowing blue sphere with a single optical sensor hovering in midair with a casual physics defiance of hard light projection. This was a monitor, one of the ancient AI constructs the Forerunners had created to maintain their installations. "I am 343 Guilty Spark, Monitor of Installation 04, the construct announced. "And you are, well, you're not Reclaimers, certainly. Not Forerunner, not Flood, thankfully. What a peculiar development." Outside the sealed entrance, Flood combat forms pounded against the door with relentless rhythm. The Forerunner technology held, but even ancient alloys showed stress fractures under sustained assault. Tharkun's biomask translator struggled with the monitor's archaic language patterns before achieving functional conversion. What is this place? And what are those creatures? "This is a containment and research facility," Guilty Spark explained with disturbing casualness. "And those creatures are the Flood, a parasitic species of such virulent danger that my makers built these installations specifically to contain them. Or, when containment failed, to eliminate them along with all potential hosts within 3 radii of the galactic center." "Eliminate?" Mei Sui asked. "How?" "Oh, quite simple, really. The Halo Array sterilizes all sentient life in the galaxy, thus depriving the Flood of hosts. Rather extreme, I admit, but quite effective. My makers sacrificed themselves to activate the array once before. I maintain Installation 04 in case such measures become necessary again." The 3 predators processed this information with growing horror. A weapon that killed all sentient life. An entire galaxy's population sacrificed it to stop a parasite. The Forerunners had been willing to commit cosmic genocide rather than let the Flood spread. Chikte watched through the facility's external sensors as the Flood horde grew larger. More combat forms arrived, constructed from every corpse in the surrounding region. Carrier forms positioned themselves near the entrance, ready to breach if the door failed. And in the distance, something massive moved through the swamp, a proto-grave mind, a concentration of flood biomass achieving horrifying intelligence. "We cannot fight this," Yautja stated. "Our weapons are insufficient, our tactics meaningless. How does one hunt a prey that has no individual existence? No honor code? No survival instinct beyond spreading itself?" Tharkun's mandibles clicked in grim agreement. "This violates everything the Yautja hold sacred. We hunt worthy prey. We claim honorable trophies. We test ourselves against adversaries who possess strength, skill, or intelligence. These parasites possess none of those qualities. They are simply consumption given form." "Then you understand the flood's true horror," Guilty Spark observed. "They do not fight. They do not hunt. They simply convert. Every warrior they infect becomes another weapon. Every corpse becomes another host. And when enough biomass accumulates, they achieve intelligence that transcends individual organisms. The proto-grave mind you detected is already forming. In days, it will possess strategic thinking. In weeks, it could coordinate attacks across this entire installation." Sui studied the ancient facilities schematics displayed on Forerunner holographs. "These containment protocols you mentioned, can they stop the outbreak?" "Oh yes," Guilty Spark replied cheerfully. "Simply activate Installation 04's primary weapon system and eliminate all sentient life within 25,000 light years. Problem solved." "That would kill us," Tharkun noted. "And the humans, and the Covenant, and every other thinking being in the galaxy. But it would also kill the flood by removing all potential hosts. As I said, rather extreme, but effective." The predators stood in the ancient facility, surrounded by technology they barely understood, besieged by an enemy that transcended conventional combat and offered a solution that meant universal extinction. For warriors whose entire culture revolved around honorable hunting, the flood represented something worse than death. They represented meaninglessness. "There must be alternative," Tharkun insisted. "Local containment, quarantine protocols. Something that doesn't require galactic genocide." Guilty Spark's optical sensor brightened with what might have been interest. "Local containment is theoretically possible. Seal the outbreak zones. Eliminate infected biomass before proto-gravemind achieves full intelligence. Prevent spore dispersal to other regions. But such efforts require significant military coordination and firepower. The humans and Covenant are currently killing each other rather than addressing the flood threat. Quite short-sighted, really." Yautja accessed data from the installation's observation network. The young blood's mandibles spread in shock. "Elder Tharkun, the flood has spread beyond this swamp. Multiple outbreak zones detected across Installation 04. And the humans, they've discovered it as well. UNSC forces are attempting containment, but they're treating it as another enemy to fight, not understanding its true nature." Sui reviewed footage of human Marines engaging flood combat forms. The humans fired their weapons with desperate intensity, killing combat forms but failing to destroy the infection forms that simply sought new hosts. They're making it worse. Every human that falls becomes another flood warrior. They need to burn the bodies, cauterize the infected zones. But they're fighting with conventional tactics. Tharkun made a decision that would have profound implications for Yautja-human relations. We must warn them. The humans must understand what they face, or the flood will consume this installation, then spread to the ships in orbit, then to every world those ships visit. This is not a threat that honors territorial boundaries or military allegiances. "You would aid the humans?" Yautja asked, confused. "Our prey?" "The flood eliminates the concept of prey. Tharkun responded. If this parasite spreads, there will be no hunts, no honor, no warrior culture, only endless consumption. The humans may be our adversaries, but we share a common threat now. And Guilty Spark is correct. Stopping the flood requires coordination between all factions. Guilty Spark's optical sensor bobbed with apparent approval. How wonderfully pragmatic. Shall I establish communication channels with the human forces currently attempting containment operations? Yes, and prepare whatever containment protocols your facility possesses. We will convince the humans to implement proper flood elimination procedures. The monitor activated ancient communication systems, linking to UNSC channels. A human voice responded, female, authoritative, clearly military command. This is Commander Miranda Keyes aboard UNSC frigate in amber clad. Who is this? These are secured channels. Tharkun's biomask translator converted his response. This is Tharkun of the Yautja. You know my species as the hunters who have engaged your Spartans. I am not your friend, but we share a greater threat. The parasites you encountered, the flood, will kill us all if not contained properly. Listen carefully, or your species dies. There was a long pause before Keyes responded. I'm listening. The alliance was tenuous, born of desperate necessity rather than mutual trust. Commander Keyes coordinated UNSC containment operations from orbit, while Tharkun provided tactical intelligence from the Forerunner facility. Guilty Spark served as translator and technical advisor, his extensive knowledge of flood biology proving invaluable. And on the ground, human Marines fought alongside, or at least parallel to, predator hunters who had, days earlier, been hunting those same humans as trophies. But the strangest alliance formed in the swamps of Installation 04 involved neither faction's formal command structure. Zel Marami, the Sangheili Ultra who had dueled Kavar days earlier, led a Covenant strike force into the containment zone on orders to investigate heretical abominations. The prophets had declared the flood an affront to the Great Journey, demons that corrupted the Forerunner's sacred legacy. Standard Covenant doctrine was to purge them with plasma fire and righteous fury. The Elite's strike force, 12 Sangheili warriors, 20 Ungoi infantry, and 4 Megallic Golo hunter pairs, discovered the flood's true horror within minutes of deployment. Combat forms constructed from Covenant corpses attacked with terrifying efficiency, using energy swords and plasma rifles wielded by animated dead. Infection forms swarmed the Ungoi, whose environmental suits provided minimal protection against parasites designed to penetrate any organic vessel. Zel Marami watched 3 of his warriors fall to infection within the first engagement. Their bodies convulsed, transformed, and rose as enemies wearing Sangheili armor and carrying energy swords. The sight violated everything the Elite believed about honor, death, and warriors' dignity. Fall back, he commanded, activating his energy sword and cutting down his own former warriors. These are not enemies we can fight with honor. They are corruption made manifest. His retreat brought him directly into a UNSC defensive position where Master Chief had established a perimeter with 2 squads of Marines. The humans immediately targeted the Elite strike force, decades of warfare overriding the immediate flood threat. Hold fire, Master Chief commanded, surprising his own Marines. They're retreating from the flood, not attacking us. Zel Marami stopped, his energy sword still ignited, mandibles spread in defensive posture. He recognized the green-armored Spartan immediately. The warrior who had killed 2 Sangheili Ultras in single combat during the battle on Circumstance. Every instinct demanded he attack, claim honor through righteous combat. But behind him, the flood surged forward. Hundreds of combat forms, carrier forms ready to detonate, and infection forms skittering across the swamp's surface in a tide of parasitic horror. The elite made a calculation that would have been unthinkable under any other circumstances. Spartan, a temporary alliance. We face common enemy that respects no banner, no honor, no sacred right of combat. I propose we kill these abominations together, then resume our war. Master Chief's response was immediate. Agreed. Marines, focus fire on the carrier forms. Elite, your warriors target the combat forms. Coordinated defensive formation, now. The two forces merged with surprising efficiency. Sangheili warriors formed the front line, their energy swords cutting through combat forms with superheated plasma. Human Marines provided ranged support, their assault rifles and shotguns shredding flood biomass. Master Chief coordinated both groups with tactical precision that even Zel Marami grudgingly respected. The Spartan commands well. The elite admitted to his second, a Sangheili major named Voro Mantakri. They see the battlefield entire, not just individual enemies. They are human, Voro responded, religious indoctrination fighting practical observation. The prophets teach they are. The prophets are not here. Zel Marami interrupted. We are. And I will not die because doctrine prevents me from accepting capable allies against demons. The defensive line held for 30 minutes, but the flood's numbers kept increasing. Every covenant or human corpse that fell became potential host material. Carrier forms deliberately positioned themselves to explode among the defenders, spreading infection forms that could convert living warriors mid-battle. Then Tharkun's hunting party arrived. The three predators descended from a Forerunner observation tower, their plasma casters opening fire from elevated positions. Unlike conventional weapons, Predator plasma technology operated at temperatures sufficient to completely incinerate flood biomass, not just killing the combat forms, but destroying the infection forms within. Target the carrier forms first. Tharkun transmitted via translated communication channels to both human and Covenant forces. They spread infection. Eliminate them at range. Combat forms can be defeated with sufficient firepower, but infection forms must be burned. Completely. Do not let them touch you under any circumstances. Zel Marami looked up at the predators with something approaching shock. You are the hunters, the ones who attacked our forces on Kolo. Yes, Tharkun acknowledged, dropping to ground level and extending his wrist blades to cut through a combat form that got too close. And you are the warrior who earned Kavar's respect through honorable duel, small universe. Master Chief coordinated fire patterns while addressing both the elite and the predator. We can discuss who's hunting whom after we survive this. Right now, we need to establish a perimeter and call for evacuation. No evacuation, Tharkun corrected. The flood spreads through infected hosts, reaching new populations. If a single infection form reaches your ships, it will spread through your entire fleet within days. This outbreak must be contained on Installation 04 permanently. Commander Keyes' voice crackled over UNSC channels. Chief, we can extract you and your Marines. Leave the containment to orbital bombardment. Negative, Master Chief responded, analyzing the tactical situation. Orbital bombardment will scatter flood spores across the ring structure. We need ground-level cauterization, complete biomass elimination in controlled zones. Guilty Spark's hologram materialized near the defensive position, hovering cheerfully despite the carnage. Oh, wonderful. You've all decided to cooperate. How refreshing. I have excellent news. This facility contains sufficient thermobaric purge systems to eliminate the current outbreak. We simply need to activate them from the central control chamber, approximately 5 kilometers from your position. through flood-infested territory, Mei Shui observed. Well, yes, the monitor admitted. Rather unfortunate placement, really. But the facility must be activated manually to prevent accidental activation. Safety protocols, you understand. Zell Marami's mandibles clicked in dark amusement. Then we have our mission. A strike force moves through enemy territory to activate ancient weapons. It is almost honorable. Master Chief began tactical planning immediately. We need a small mobile team. Too many fighters will attract more flood. 6 warriors maximum, 2 from each faction. I will go, Zell Marami declared. Voro Montecri accompanies me. Mei Shui and I represent the Yautja, Tharkun stated. Master Chief looked at his Marines, brave soldiers, but unaugmented humans against flood hordes. I go, and I need one other. A Pelican dropship descended through the battle, its chain gun providing covering fire. The boarding ramp lowered, revealing another Spartan in blue Mjolnir armor, Spartan 058, call sign Linda. The sniper specialist who could hit targets at impossible ranges, even by Spartan standards. Heard you were having a party, Chief, Linda transmitted. Figured you could use support. Linda makes 6, Master Chief confirmed. Everyone else holds this position. No flood gets past this perimeter. Understood? The combined human, Covenant, and Predator forces acknowledge the order. And for the first time in this war, 3 species that had been killing each other stood united against a threat that made their conflict seem petty. The strike team moved through the swamp with practiced coordination. Zell, Marami, and Voro Montecri led, their energy swords clearing paths through flood biomass. Tharkun and Mei Shui provided range support, their plasma casters incinerating infection forms before they could reach the group. Master Chief and Linda covered the rear, their weapons discipline ensuring no flood ambush succeeded. They communicated through translated channels, sharing tactical intelligence despite decades of warfare between their species. Combat forms ahead, Linda reported, her sniper scope identifying targets through the facility's dim corridors. 12 visible, probably more in concealment. Sangheili will engage close combat, Zell Marami stated. Spartans provide suppressing fire. Yautja eliminate carrier forms before they detonate. The coordination was imperfect. Centuries of cultural differences couldn't be erased in minutes. But it was effective. The strike team carved through flood resistance with combined capabilities that exceeded any single faction's power. During a brief respite while Guilty Spark opened ancient doors, Voro Montecri asked the question on everyone's mind. When this is finished, we return to killing each other. Master Chief's response was pragmatic. Probably. But today, we kill the flood. A warrior's answer, Zell Marami approved. No pretense of friendship, no false alliance, simply recognition that some threats transcend our conflicts. Tharkun's mandibles clicked in agreement. The Yautja understand this philosophy. We hunt worthy prey. The flood is not worthy, it is abomination. Eliminating it serves all species' interests. Then we are agreed, Mei Shui concluded. Today, we are allies. Tomorrow, we are enemies again. And there is honor in acknowledging this truth. The strike team reached the control chamber, a massive Forerunner facility filled with holographic displays and control systems that had waited millennia for activation. Guilty Spark interfaced with the ancient technology, his optical sensor brightening with satisfaction. Excellent. All systems functional. Activating thermobaric purge in 5 minutes. I strongly recommend you evacuate to minimum safe distance, approximately 10 kilometers, before ignition. 10 kilometers, Linda calculated. Through flood territory, in 5 minutes. Yes, Guilty Spark confirmed cheerfully. Do hurry. The retreat was a nightmare. The flood, sensing something had changed, surged forward with renewed aggression. Combat forms threw themselves at the strike team without regard for survival. Carrier forms deliberately exploded in corridors, trying to block escape routes. And behind them all, the proto-Gravemind's influence spread, coordinating attacks with horrifying intelligence. Zell Marami's shields failed after 3 consecutive combat form strikes. The infection form lunged for the exposed elite, its tentacles reaching for his mandibles. Tharkun's plasmacaster vaporized it mid-leap, saving the Sangheili warrior's life. I am in your debt, Hunter, Zell Marami acknowledged. Survive first. Debate debts later. Tharkun responded. Master Chief's motion trackers showed them approaching the safe zone with 30 seconds to spare. But one flood proto-Gravemind extension, a massive tentacle of coordinated biomass, blocked their path, its surface covered in grasping infection forms. Spartans, Zell Marami commanded. Target the tentacle's base, Sangheili and Yautja, clear infection forms. All 6 warriors coordinated their final assault. Linda's sniper rifle punched holes through the proto-Gravemind's biomass. Master Chief's assault rifle shredded infection forms. The Sangheili energy swords carved through the tentacle structure. And Predator plasmacasters incinerated everything that moved. The tentacle collapsed, and the strike team sprinted through the opening just as Guilty Spark's countdown reached 0. The thermobaric purge ignited behind them, a wave of superheated oxygen that flash incinerated all organic matter within its radius. The flood outbreak dissolved into ash, their biomass consumed by temperatures that left metal glowing white-hot. The 6 warriors stood at the safe zone's edge, watching the inferno cleanse the swamp. They were battered, exhausted, and covered in flood biomass and their own blood. But they had survived. The alliance is concluded, Zell Marami stated formally. We return to our war. Agreed, Master Chief responded. Understood, Tharkun confirmed. The 3 species separated, humans returning to UNSC lines, Covenant to their forces, Predators to their hunting vessel. Behind them, Installation 04 burned, cleansing itself of the flood outbreak through Forerunner fire. But each warrior carried knowledge that would reshape their understanding of this war. Sometimes, the greatest enemies could become the most valuable allies. And sometimes, survival required setting aside honor codes that made less sense in the face of cosmic horror. The ruins of Installation 04's replica facility, a Forerunner testing ground where ancient AI constructs ran combat simulations, provided neutral territory for what the humans called trial by combat, and the Yautja recognized as Taka de Hundwe, the final hunt. 3 days had passed since the flood containment operation, and now the moment arrived when 2 apex warriors would determine the outcome of species pride through single combat. Hachak stood in the center of the arena, a circular platform 200 meters in diameter surrounded by sheer drops into darkness. The Elder Predator had prepared for this duel with ritual precision, cleaning his armor, sharpening his wrist blades to monomolecular perfection, charging his plasmacaster to maximum capacity, and performing the traditional prayers to Setanu, the black warrior who judged all hunters in death. Across the arena, Master Chief performed his own preparations. Mjolnir armor at full charge, motion trackers calibrated, shield systems optimal, MA-5B assault rifle loaded with armor-piercing rounds, M6D pistol as backup, combat knife secured. The Spartan checked each system methodically, the ritual of a warrior who had faced impossible odds and survived through discipline and adaptation. Around the perimeter, observers gathered despite the agreement for no interference. UNSC personnel watched from one side. Marines, ODSTs, and other Spartans, including Linda and Spartan 043. Covenant forces observed from another position, Sangheili warriors led by Zel Marami, who had demanded to witness this honorable duel between worthy adversaries. And from concealed positions in the facility's upper levels, other Yautja hunters watched their elder represent Clan Hadlak's honor. Guilty Spark hovered at the arena's edge, serving as neutral referee. How delightful. Formal combat between species. My records indicate such events were common during the Forerunner precursor conflicts. Of course, those usually resulted in planetary extinction, but I'm sure this will be much more contained. The rules, Hachak stated, his translator converting clicks into English. Single combat, no outside interference. Victory through opponent's death or surrender. The defeated faction withdraws from this sector of space. Agreed, Master Chief confirmed. If you win, Yautja hunting parties leave UNSC territories. If I win, you and your clan depart and don't return. Acceptable terms, Hachak responded. His mandibles spread in anticipation. I have hunted for 70 seasons, Master Chief. I have claimed trophies from 100 worlds. I have faced prey that would drive lesser warriors to madness. You are the greatest challenge this war has offered. Win or lose, this will be a hunt remembered. Then let's make it worth remembering. Guilty Spark's optical sensor brightened. Combatants ready? Excellent. On my mark, begin. Both warriors moved simultaneously. Master Chief opened with suppressing fire, the assault rifle's armor-piercing rounds forcing Hachak to activate his cloaking and evade. The Predator Elder disappeared into near invisibility, circling the arena while his biomask tracked the Spartan through multiple vision spectrums. But Master Chief had learned from previous encounters. The Spartan activated a flare, blinding white light that overloaded Hachak's thermal imaging and forced the Predator to switch vision modes. In that half-second of recalibration, Master Chief's motion tracker detected the cloaked movement and fired a burst precisely at Hachak's position. The round struck Hachak's shoulder, penetrating the mesh armor and drawing green blood. First blood to the Spartan. Hachak roared approval and returned fire with his plasma caster. The superheated bolt struck Master Chief's shields, collapsing them instantly and scorching them Mjolnir armor's paint. The Spartan rolled aside as a second plasma bolt cratered the ground where they'd been standing. Your armor protects you, Hachak clicked, deactivating his cloaking to face the Spartan directly. But armor can be broken, shields can fail. What remains when your technology abandons you, warrior? Master Chief discarded the empty assault rifle and drew the M6D pistol. The same thing that remains when yours fails. Training, experience, will to survive. The Spartan fired 3 precise shots at Hachak's plasma caster, the rounds impacting the weapon's power cell. The caster sparked and died, its energy systems compromised. Hachak clicked in irritation and discarded the damaged equipment. Then we fight as warriors were meant to, with blade and strength. Hachak extended his wrist blades and drew his combistic, the weapon extending to full 2-meter length. Master Chief holstered the pistol and drew the combat knife, a comparatively tiny blade, but in Spartan hands, a lethal weapon. The two warriors closed to melee range. The combat that followed was poetry, written in violence. Hachak's combistic thrust with precision that came from 7 decades of hunting. Master Chief's augmented reflexes allowed dodges measured in milliseconds. When the combistic struck Mjolnir armor, it left gouges in the titanium alloy. When Master Chief's combat knife found gaps in Predator mesh, it drew green blood. They were perfectly matched, Yautja strength and experience against Spartan augmentation and tactical genius. For 30 seconds, neither gained advantage. Every strike was countered. Every feint was recognized. They fought with the understanding that comes only when two apex predators meet without advantage of terrain, numbers, or surprise. Then Master Chief adapted. The Spartans stopped trying to match Hachak's raw strength and instead used Mjolnir's servo systems for leverage. When the combistic thrust came, Master Chief grabbed it, twisted with mechanical advantage, and used Hachak's own momentum to throw the Predator Elder across the arena. Hachak crashed into the ground, mandibles clicking in pained surprise. But the Elder Predator had fought for 70 seasons. He rolled with the impact, came up in combat stance, and hurled the combistic like a javelin. The weapon flew with lethal accuracy, aimed directly at Master Chief's visor. The Spartan tilted their head at the last possible moment. The combistic scraped along the helmet, leaving a deep scar in the armor, but not penetrating. Master Chief caught the weapon mid-flight and hurled it back, not at Hachak, but at the Predator's feet, forcing the Elder to dodge and surrender his weapon permanently. Now both warriors were reduced to wrist blades and combat knife. "You fight well," Hachak acknowledged, circling carefully. "Better than I anticipated. The humans who created you understood what it means to forge weapons." "I'm not a weapon," Master Chief responded. "I'm a soldier. There's a difference." "Is there?" Hachak clicked thoughtfully. "You were taken as child, trained from youth, augmented beyond natural capability, raised knowing only war and duty. How is that different from being forged as weapon?" The philosophical question didn't slow the combat. Both warriors attacked simultaneously, wrist blades against combat knife in a flurry of strikes too fast for unaugmented eyes to follow. Hachak's blade scored across Master Chief's armor, cutting through the energy shield projectors. Master Chief's knife found the gap in Hachak's shoulder mesh, the same wound opened earlier, and drove deeper. Green blood sprayed across the arena floor. Hachak's right arm went partially numb, the shoulder damage affecting his combat effectiveness. But the Elder Predator had fought wounded before. He adapted, switching to his left-hand blade and adjusting his stance. "The wound slows me," Hachak stated, "but does not stop me. Fight on, Master Chief. Show me what truly makes Spartans worthy prey." Master Chief's shields were down, armor damaged, knife dulled from striking Predator armor. But the Spartan's tactical mind continued processing variables, looking for advantages. The arena's environmental controls, the observation positions, the drop-offs at the arena's edge. And Master Chief formed a plan that was either brilliant or suicidal. The Spartan charged Hachak directly, abandoning defensive positioning for pure offense. Hachak braced for impact, wrist blade positioned for a killing strike as the Spartan closed distance. But at the last moment, Master Chief dropped into a slide, passing beneath Hachak's strike while using the momentum to carry both warriors toward the arena's edge. They went over together, falling into the darkness below. The observers gasped, humans and Covenant and Yautja all reacting to the apparent double suicide. But Master Chief had calculated the fall. 20 meters down, a maintenance platform provided landing zone. The Spartan's armor absorbed the impact, while Hachak, caught by surprise, hit the platform with bone-jarring force. Both warriors rose, battered and bleeding. Hachak's mandibles clicked in pained laughter. "Madness. You risk death to gain tactical advantage?" "I risk whatever is necessary to win," Master Chief responded, moving in for the final engagement. The last exchange of strikes was brief and decisive. Hachak lunged with his remaining functional wrist blade. Master Chief sidestepped, grabbed the Predator's arm, and used a joint lock that incorporated every pound of Mjolnir's servo-assisted strength. Hachak's wrist gauntlet cracked, the blade assembly shattered, and Master Chief's combat knife pressed against Hachak's throat, right where mandibles met neck, a killing position that even Predator biology couldn't survive. "Yield," Master Chief commanded. Hachak stood motionless, the knife at his throat, completely at the Spartan's mercy. For several seconds, the elder Predator considered his options. He could fight on, accept death with honor. He could trigger his self-destruct device, deny the Spartan complete victory. Or he could do something unprecedented in Yautja culture when facing prey that had proven superior. "I yield." Hachak clicked, his mandibles spreading in grudging respect. "The hunt is yours, Master Chief. You have proven worthy beyond measure. Take my skull with honor." Master Chief removed the knife from Hachak's throat and stepped back. "I don't want your skull. I want your word. You and your hunters leave UNSC space. Find prey elsewhere. This sector is closed to Yautja hunts." Hachak's mandibles quivered in surprise. "You spare me? After defeating me in honorable combat, you choose mercy?" "Not mercy," Master Chief corrected. "Practicality. You're a skilled hunter. Your people value honor. I need you alive to ensure your clan honors our agreement. Dead hunters can't enforce promises." The logic was sound, but Hachak recognized something deeper. The Spartan could have claimed the trophy, the ultimate proof of victory. Instead, Master Chief chose to establish diplomatic precedent. This was warrior politics of the highest order. "You are wise beyond your years, Spartan," Hachak acknowledged. "I accept your terms. Clan Hedlak will withdraw from human territories, and I will carry word to other clans that the humans possess warriors worthy of respect, not simply prey to be hunted." Above them, the observers descended via grav lifts and rope lines. Zel Marami reached the platform first, his mandibles spread in approval. "A duel worthy of legend." Both warriors demonstrated honor that transcends species. Tharkun and his hunting party retrieved Hachak, supporting the injured elder. "You bring no shame, Hachak. You faced superior warrior and recognized their worth. This is wisdom." Master Chief's fellow Spartans checked the Chief's armor integrity while Commander Keys transmitted from orbit. "Chief, are you intact?" "Affirmative, Commander. Mission accomplished. The Predators are withdrawing." But Hachak had one final statement before departing. The elder Predator faced Master Chief directly, mandibles clicking with formal respect. "You defeated me, Spartan, but you did not destroy me. This creates debt. Should you ever face prey beyond your capability, threat that exceeds even your considerable skills, call for Hachak of Clan Hedlak. I will answer. This I swear by Satanu's honor." Master Chief processed this unexpected offer. An alliance with predator hunters? The strategic implications were significant. "I'll remember that. Hopefully, I won't need to collect." "Hopefully," Hachak agreed. "But if you do, I will be honored to hunt beside the warrior who defeated me." The Predators departed, their cloaked vessel lifting off from Installation 04's surface. The Covenant forces withdrew as well, Zel Marami offering a warrior's salute before his phantom dropship carried him away. And the UNSC forces secured the facility, adding another impossible chapter to the legend of Master Chief. Guilty Spark hovered nearby, optical sensor bright with satisfaction. Well, that was considerably more interesting than my usual routine. Shall I file this under interspecies diplomatic relations or combat trial outcomes? File it under classified. Master Chief responded. Oh, how disappointing. But very well. I suppose not all historic moments are meant for public record. As the Pelican dropship carried Master Chief back to UNSC lines, the Spartan reflected on the implications of what had just occurred. 3 species, human, covenant, and predator, had fought together against the flood, then witnessed honorable combat that established mutual respect. The war wasn't over. The Covenant still sought to exterminate humanity. The predators might return to hunt other sectors. But for one moment, warriors from 3 civilizations had recognized each other's worth. Sometimes, that recognition mattered more than victory. Installation 04 hung in space like a broken promise. The ring structure, damaged during the events that followed the flood outbreak and subsequent battles, showed structural stress fractures across multiple sections. Forerunner monitoring systems, though still functional, detected catastrophic containment failures, power grid overloads, and most concerning, flood contamination that had spread beyond the thermobaric purge zones. Guilty Spark transmitted emergency warnings to all factions. Attention all personnel. Installation 04 has reached critical instability. Structural integrity failing across 17 primary support columns. Estimated time to complete collapse, 4 hours, 12 minutes. I strongly recommend immediate evacuation. But evacuation proved complicated. The battles between UNSC Covenant and Predator forces over previous weeks had left thousands of personnel scattered across the ring's 10,000-kilometer surface. Human Marines held defensive positions in multiple zones. Covenant warriors occupied sacred Forerunner facilities they refused to abandon. And scattered Predator hunting parties continued pursuing trophies despite Hachak's withdrawal order. Young blood seeking glory, unwilling to accept their elders' diplomatic resolution. Master Chief coordinated UNSC evacuation from the surface, while Commander Keyes organized orbital extraction. But the motion trackers and satellite surveillance revealed a problem that made simple evacuation impossible. The flood had survived. Deep beneath Installation 04's surface, in containment facilities, the thermobaric purge hadn't reached. Flood biomass had achieved something terrifying. A fully formed grave mind. Not the proto-grave mind they'd fought previously, but a complete intelligence. A collective consciousness formed from thousands of consumed hosts, possessing strategic thinking and coordinate control over every flood form on the installation. And it was spreading. Chief, we're detecting flood emergence points across 40% of the ring. Cortana reported, her avatar flickering with processing strain. They're not random outbreaks. This is coordinated assault. The grave mind is trying to reach the evacuation ships. Master Chief understood the implication immediately. If even one flood spore reached the evacuation vessels, the parasite would spread to every world those ships visited. Earth, the outer colonies, anywhere humanity fled, the flood would follow. Containment was no longer possible. Only one option remained. Cortana, can we trigger Installation 04's self-destruct? The AI was silent for precisely 2.3 seconds, an eternity for an intelligence that operated in microseconds. Yes, but it requires manual activation from the ring's control center. And Chief, the control center is at the epicenter of flood infestation. Getting there means fighting through the grave mind's strongest defenses. Then that's where I'm going. What Master Chief didn't know was that Hachak had reached the same conclusion. The Predator Elder, still recovering from his dual wounds, monitored the situation from Satanu's gaze in high orbit. His hunting parties reported impossible flood numbers, coordinated attacks that transcended simple predator-prey dynamics, and worst of all, young blood Yautja warriors falling to infection, their bodies rising as combat forms wielding predator technology. The abomination spreads, Tharkun reported via secure channel. We must evacuate our hunters before more fall to corruption. But Hachak's honor wouldn't permit simple retreat. No, the flood threatens all species. If we flee while it spreads to evacuation ships, we condemn the galaxy to consumption. I swore oath to the Master Chief. Should they face prey beyond their capability, I would answer. This qualifies. Elder, you are wounded. The duel damaged. The duel taught me wisdom, Hachak interrupted. Sometimes, the greatest honor comes not from claiming trophies, but from preventing tragedy. Prepare insertion vessel. I go to aid the Spartan. Simultaneously, Zel Marami made his own calculations. The Sangheili Ultra had received orders from the Prophets to secure Forerunner relics from Installation 04 before evacuating. But those orders were written before the flood's true scope became apparent. Now, Zel Marami faced a choice between religious duty and warrior pragmatism. His second, Voro Montekri, expressed the dilemma clearly. The Prophets command we retrieve the sacred relics, but the path to those relics leads through flood infestation that will consume us. And if we succeed, the relics themselves may be contaminated. Zel Marami's mandibles clicked thoughtfully. The Prophets are not here. They do not face the reality we witness. And I have fought beside both human and Yautja against this parasite. I know truth the hierarchs refuse to acknowledge. Some threats transcend our holy war. You propose heresy? I propose survival. The Spartan moves toward the control center, likely to destroy this installation and eliminate the flood permanently. A worthy goal. We will aid them. The Prophets will declare you traitor. Then I die a traitor with honor, rather than a faithful warrior who doomed the galaxy through obedience. Zel Marami activated his energy sword. Gather our best warriors. We have one final battle to fight. The convergence happened organically, without formal coordination. Master Chief fought toward the control center with a squad of Marines and Spartan 058. Hachak's insertion vessel deployed him and Mei Sui directly into the flood-infested zones. Zel Marami's strike force carved through Covenant loyalists who tried to stop his heretical mission. And all three groups discovered they were fighting toward the same objective. They met in the approach corridor to the control center, a massive Forerunner passage now choked with flood biomass. Combat forms by the hundreds. Carrier forms positioned strategically to maximize infection spread. And behind them all, the Gravemind's influence. A presence that spoke through the flood, with multiple voices layered into disturbing harmony. This one is machine and nerve, and has its mind concluded. The Gravemind's voice echoed through the corridor, each word spoken by dozens of infected hosts simultaneously. This one is but flesh and faith, and is the more deluded. And this one is hunter and honor, and is the more foolish. The voices were quoting their thoughts. Master Chief's tactical analysis, Zel Marami's religious doubts, Hachak's honor codes, all revealed through consumed hosts who had touched those warriors' minds during combat. Ignore it, Master Chief commanded. The Gravemind's trying to break our coordination. Stay focused on the objective. But the flood's assault was overwhelming. Combat forms surged forward in waves that accepted catastrophic casualties to make incremental gains. Carrier forms deliberately exploded near the strike force, forcing constant retreat to avoid infection. And pure flood biomass, raw tentacles of coordinated tissue, burst through walls and floor, trying to physically drag warriors into consumption. We cannot reach the control center through this, Mei Sui stated. her plasma caster overheating from sustained fire. There are too many. Even our combined strength is insufficient. Master Chief analyzed the tactical situation with mechanical precision. The corridor ahead was impassable. Hundreds of meters of flood infestation between their position and the control center. Direct assault was suicide. Flanking was impossible. The flood controlled all alternate routes. They needed a new approach. Cortana, can you access Installation 04's transport systems, teleportation grid, maintenance tunnels, anything that bypasses this corridor? The AI processed for 1.7 seconds. There's a maintenance conduit system the Forerunners used for rapid facility access. But Chief, it's too small from Mjolnir armor. Maybe small enough for standard humans or infection forms? Master Chief finished grimly. The flood will follow us through any route we take. Zell Marami's tactical thinking aligned with the Spartans. Then we require diversion. One force holds this corridor, draws the flood's attention. Another force uses the maintenance conduits to reach the control center. Those who remain behind won't survive. Hachak completed. The Predator Elder's mandibles spread in grim understanding. Sacrifice to ensure mission success. This is the warrior's burden. The three leaders, human, covenant, predator, looked at each other with perfect understanding. Someone had to stay behind and die to give others a chance to complete the mission. I'll stay, Master Chief stated immediately. The rest of you, no, Zell Marami interrupted. You are the one most capable of activating Forerunner systems. Your AI construct understands their technology. You must reach the control center. The Sangheili is correct, Hachak agreed. And I am already wounded from our duel. My combat effectiveness is compromised. I will hold this position while you advance. Unacceptable, Master Chief responded. There has to be another way. But there wasn't, and they all knew it. Mathematics was brutal and absolute. The flood's numbers were overwhelming. Reaching the control center required bypassing this corridor. And holding the position long enough for others to escape required warriors willing to die. Voro Manticree stepped forward, his energy sword ignited. I will remain with the Elder Predator. 2 warriors can hold longer than 1. A Marine corporal named Jenkins, young, barely 20 but battle-hardened from months of war, volunteered next. And I'll stay. Someone's got to make sure these aliens don't have all the glory. More volunteers stepped forward. 3 Sangheili warriors, 2 Predator young bloods who'd been shamed by Achak's withdrawal order and now sought redemption. 4 more Marines who understood what was required. They formed a rearguard of 12 warriors, human, covenant, and predator, fighting together not because they'd made peace, but because they shared understanding of what survival required. You have 10 minutes, Hachak told Master Chief. We hold that long, not longer. Do not waste our sacrifice. Master Chief wanted to argue, but tactical reality overrode emotion. Understood. Your sacrifice will be remembered. Zell Marami placed one hand on Voro's shoulder, a gesture of respect and farewell. Die with honor, brother. There is no greater honor than this, Voro responded. The strike force divided. Master Chief, Zell Marami, Mei Sui, Linda, and 3 Sangheili warriors entered the maintenance conduits, cramped passages barely large enough for armor. Behind them, the rearguard established defensive positions and prepared for their final battle. The flood surged forward, and the 12 warriors met them with everything they possessed. Hachak's plasma caster fired until its power cell depleted. Then he fought with wrist blades and raw strength. Voro Manticree's energy sword carved through combat forms until the weapon overheated and failed. Then he used broken Forerunner debris as improvised weapons. Corporal Jenkins fired his assault rifle until ammunition exhausted, then grabbed a plasma grenade and charged into the flood horde. They held for 11 minutes, 1 minute longer than promised. When the flood finally overwhelmed their position, the warriors died standing, surrounded by hundreds of destroyed combat forms, having bought enough time for the strike force to reach the control center. Master Chief emerged from the maintenance conduit into Installation 04's primary control chamber, a vast space filled with holographic displays and ancient technology. Guilty Spark hovered near the central console, his optical sensor dimmed with what might have been morning. "I monitored their sacrifice," the monitor stated quietly. "Warriors of 3 species, dying together to save their civilizations. The Forerunners would have appreciated such nobility." "Then help me make it count," Master Chief commanded. "How do we destroy this installation?" Guilty Spark brightened. "Oh, quite simple, really. We overload the ring's primary reactor, creating a chain reaction that will tear Installation 04 apart. All life within 10,000 kilometers will be eliminated, including the flood. Of course, you'll need to evacuate before detonation." Time frame? 5 minutes from activation to critical overload. I suggest you run very quickly. Master Chief, Zel Marami, Mei Shui, and the surviving strike force began the activation sequence, while Cortana interfaced with Forerunner systems. The ancient technology responded, power levels rising exponentially as the reactor moved toward overload. "Detonation sequence initiated," Guilty Spark announced. 4 minutes, 30 seconds until installation destruction. Do enjoy your evacuation. The strike force sprinted back through the facility, while Installation 04 began tearing itself apart. Explosions rocked the structure, support columns collapsed, and behind them, the Gravemind screamed. A sound of rage and desperation as it realized its consumption would end here. They reached the extraction point with 30 seconds to spare. Pelican dropships and Covenant Phantoms waited, engines hot, pilots ready. The warriors boarded, enemies minutes ago, survivors now, and the ships lifted off as Installation 04's surface erupted behind them. From orbit, they watched the ring structure tear itself apart. Explosions cascaded across its surface, each one triggering sympathetic detonations that spread until the entire installation fragmented. The flood died screaming. The Forerunner facility, ancient and mighty, destroyed itself to contain the parasite one final time. In the silence that followed, Master Chief stood on the Pelican's ramp, looking out at the debris field that had been Installation 04. Beside him, Zel Marami and Mai Sui watched the same destruction. 12 warriors gave their lives, the Sangheili stated. Human, Covenant, Yautja, all equal in sacrifice. "They will be remembered?" Master Chief said. "Yes," Mei Sui agreed, her mandibles clicking in sorrowful respect. "In our trophy halls, we will place markers for those who died with honor. Even human warriors deserve such recognition." The ships separated, UNSC vessels returning to human space, Covenant forces to their fleet, Predator vessels to their hunting grounds. The alliance had ended as abruptly as it formed. Tomorrow, they would return to their war. But today, they had proven that when facing extinction, even the most bitter enemies could stand together. 6 months after Installation 04's destruction, the war continued with renewed brutality. The Covenant's Holy Crusade pressed deeper into human space, glassing colonies with systematic efficiency. The UNSC fought desperate rearguard actions, buying time for evacuations that saved millions but couldn't stop the inevitable tide. And scattered throughout the conflict zones, predator hunting parties observed, analyzed, and occasionally intervened in ways that defied simple classification as friend or enemy. But something had fundamentally changed. Hachak stood in Clan Hedlak's trophy hall aboard Satanu's gaze, examining the newest edition. Not a skull, but a holographic recording of the Installation 04 battle. The Elder Predator had commissioned artisans to craft a memorial wall. 12 alcoves, each containing symbols representing the warriors who'd sacrificed themselves. Human insignias, Sangheili honor marks, Yautja clan sigils, all equal in their honored placement. You memorialize prey, observed Predator Counselor Dakar, visiting from the Yautja homeworld to inspect Hachak's controversial decisions. This is unprecedented. Some among the High Council question whether your defeat by the Spartan has compromised your judgment. Hachak's mandibles spread in what might have been amusement or defiance. I was defeated, yes, but I learned something more valuable than any trophy. The universe contains warriors whose honor matches our own. The Spartans fight with discipline we respect. The Sangheili uphold codes similar to ours. And together, we faced an enemy that forced us to recognize our shared values. Shared values with prey? Dakar clicked skeptically. This sounds dangerously close to the heresy that destroyed Clan Takon. The hunters who refused to kill after claiming their prey possessed souls. The High Council will not tolerate such weakness. It is not weakness to recognize worthy adversaries, Hachak countered. Tell me, Counselor, what honor exists in hunting prey so inferior they cannot fight back? What glory comes from claiming trophies that required no skill to obtain? The humans call their greatest warriors Spartans. The Covenant reveres their Sangheili. Both species understand what we understand, that warriors earn respect through combat, not simply through victory. Dakar examined the memorial wall with mandibles twitching in thoughtful consideration. And what of this agreement you made? Withdrawing from human space after your defeat. The High Council views this as surrendering hunting grounds that rightfully belong to the Yautja. I agreed to withdraw Clan Hedlak from UNSC territories, Hachak clarified. Other clans may hunt there if they choose, but I warn them, the Spartans are not simple prey. They are apex predators who have survived war that would destroy lesser species. Any clan that underestimates them will learn this truth through death. The Counselor's assessment mission had deeper purpose, Hachak understood. The High Council was deciding whether Hachak's actions represented wisdom or dishonor. Whether the Elders' alliance with humans and covenant against the Flood was pragmatic survival or cultural betrayal. The decision would determine whether Hachak remained Elder of Clan Hedlak or faced exile for his controversial choices. I will report what I have witnessed, Dakar stated neutrally. The High Council will judge. Meanwhile, in UNSC space, Master Chief stood in a debriefing room on Reach, facing Admiral Hood and Dr. Halsey. The topic was the same one that had occupied command staff for months. What to do about the predators? After Installation 04, predator hunting parties have avoided direct engagement with Spartan units, Hood reported, reviewing tactical data. We've detected their vessels in 17 systems, but they only hunt standard Marine and ODST forces, never Spartans. It's as if they're respecting some kind of agreement. Hachak's agreement, Master Chief confirmed. I defeated him in single combat. By their honor code, that means his clan withdraws. But there are other predator clans. They're not bound by Hachak's agreement. Halsey pulled up biological analysis from the predator equipment Oni had recovered over the months. We've identified at least 8 distinct genetic lineages, different clans, presumably, each with their own leadership and codes. Some have continued hunting in our space. Others have withdrawn entirely. And a few, she highlighted specific incidents, have actually intervened against Covenant forces. Not to help us necessarily, but because they view the Covenant as equally valid prey. Or because they recognize the Covenant as the greater threat, Master Chief observed. The Predators hunt for honor and trophies. If the Covenant glasses every human world, there are no more humans to hunt. They have strategic interest in our survival, even if they won't admit it. Hood leaned back in his chair. So we have a potential ally who's also a potential enemy. An alien species that respects strength and honor, but will kill our soldiers if given the opportunity. How do we navigate that relationship? The same way we navigate the Sangheili, Master Chief responded. Recognition of mutual capability. Both species operate on honor codes we can understand, even if we don't share their values. The Predators proved they'll fight alongside us against existential threats. The Sangheili demonstrated the same on Installation 04. That doesn't make them friends. But it makes them predictable. Halsey interjected with her characteristic analytical detachment. There's another factor to consider. ONI's xenolinguistics team has been analyzing Predator transmissions. We've detected communications between Hachak's clan and Sangheili warriors, specifically Zel Marami's combat group. They're maintaining some form of dialogue. About what? Hood demanded. Unknown. But the communications frequency increased significantly after Installation 04. Whatever happened, there created relationships that transcend simple temporary alliance. In Covenant space, those same relationships faced scrutiny from religious authority. Zel Marami stood before the Prophet of Truth in High Charity's council chamber, accused of heresy for his actions on Installation 04. You fought alongside humans, the Prophet intoned, his anti-gravity chair hovering above the Sangheili warrior. You coordinated tactics with the demons the hierarchs have declared enemies of the Great Journey. You abandoned sacred duty to pursue alliance with prey species. These are crimes punishable by death. Zel Marami's mandibles remained steady, showing no fear. I fought alongside warriors against an enemy that threatened all life. The flood does not discriminate between faithful and heretic. It consumes all. To stand idle while the parasites spread would have been the true heresy, abandoning survival for doctrine that the flood cares nothing about. The flood is contained. Truth's voice rose with controlled fury. The sacred rings exist to prevent its spread. Your actions suggest you believe the Prophet's wisdom insufficient. I believe the flood cares nothing for wisdom, Zel Marami responded. It cares only for consumption, and I have seen truth the hierarchs deny. The humans possess warriors of extraordinary capability. The Yautja hunt with honor codes similar to our own. These species are not inferior prey. They are potential rivals who deserve respect. Respect? Truth's laughter was cold. You would elevate prey to equal status with the Covenant's chosen? I would acknowledge reality over comfortable fiction. The human called Master Chief defeated a Yautja elder in single combat. That same Spartan coordinated the strike force that destroyed Installation 04 and eliminated the flood outbreak. These are not actions of inferior beings. The Prophet of Truth was silent for several seconds, his enhanced eyes studying the Sangheili warrior with calculation that transcended simple religious fervor. You are fortunate, Zel Marami, that your combat record speaks to extraordinary service. Lesser warriors would face execution for such heresy. Instead, you are Reassigned. You will lead special operations against human forces. Prove your loyalty through their destruction. As the hierarchs command, Zel Marami responded, recognizing political maneuvering when he encountered it. Truth wasn't convinced by religious arguments, but he couldn't execute a war hero without risking Sangheili morale. So instead, he weaponized Zel Marami's tactical knowledge against the very humans the elite had fought beside. But Truth made a critical miscalculation. He assumed that warriors who'd stood together against extinction couldn't transform back into simple enemies. He didn't understand that recognition of capability created bonds more complex than friendship or hatred. After the council session, Zel Marami returned to his warriors and transmitted an encrypted message. Not to human forces, but to a Yautja frequency he'd acquired during the Installation 04 operation. Hachak of Clan Hidlak. This is Zel Marami. I have been ordered to attack human positions. I will follow those orders, duty requires it. But I transmit tactical patterns and engagement schedules, not to betray my people, but to ensure that when we fight, it is with honor. No ambushes, no civilian targets. Warrior against warrior, as it should be. If you maintain communications with the Spartans, convey this message. I respect them still, even as I prepare to kill them. Hachak received the transmission with mandibles spread in approval. The Sangheili understood the complexity. Enemies in war, but respectful adversaries in combat. The Elder Predator forwarded the intelligence to uneasy channels through encrypted relay, ensuring that when Zel Marami's forces attacked, the humans would be prepared for honorable battle rather than surprised by ambush. 3 weeks later, the prediction materialized on the colony world New Jerusalem. Zel Marami's strike force engaged uneasy defensive positions in what should have been a devastating surprise attack. But Master Chief's forces were prepared, having received the intelligence through Predator channels. The battle was brutal. Sangheili warriors fighting with their full capability, human Marines and Spartans responding with equivalent force. At the height of combat, Master Chief and Zel Marami met in close quarters. Energy sword against combat knife. Two warriors who'd fought together now fighting against each other. You warned us, Master Chief stated, deflecting an energy sword strike. I did, Zel Marami confirmed, his attack patterns demonstrating full lethal intent despite the warning. Does this surprise you? No, Master Chief responded, landing a blow that cracked the elite's shields. You're still trying to kill me, but with honor. As you would do in my position, Zel Marami observed, his mandibles spreading in what might have been respect or dark humor. We are enemies, Spartan. That fact remains unchanged. But we are enemies who understand each other. There is honor in that acknowledgement. The battle ended with tactical stalemate. Both forces withdrawing after achieving marginal objectives, but suffering casualties neither could easily replace. No glorious victory, no crushing defeat. Simply war continued with a new understanding that some enemies deserved respect even as you fought to kill them. In the months that followed, a pattern emerged across Covenant human-predator interactions. Predator hunting parties avoided Spartan units per Hachak's agreement, but continued hunting standard UNSC forces. However, they did so with restraint, targeting only military personnel, never civilians, and occasionally, accidentally providing intelligence on Covenant positions. Sangheili warriors like Zel Marami fought humans with full commitment, but avoided tactics that violated honor codes. No glassing of civilian populations, no targeting of medical facilities, no ambushes against evacuation ships. UNSC forces under Master Chief's influence began recognizing the difference between Covenant species. Grunts and jackals were treated as standard hostiles. But Sangheili elites who fought with honor received battlefield respect, their bodies recovered and treated appropriately rather than left as refuse. It wasn't peace. The war continued with genocidal intensity. Millions died. Colonies burned. The Covenant's holy crusade pressed toward Earth itself. But within that apocalyptic conflict, pockets of honor emerged. Moments where warriors from three civilizations recognized each other's capability and chose respect over simple hatred. Dr. Rosham Setter Halsey documented these changes in classified reports. We're witnessing the emergence of what I term adversarial respect. Enemies who fight with full commitment but acknowledge each other's martial worth. The Predators, Sangheili, and Spartans share something fundamental: understanding that warriors can be enemies without being monsters. This doesn't end the war, but it changes the war's nature. And that change might be our greatest strategic asset. In the Yautja trophy halls, elders debated Hachak's legacy. Some called him weak for sparing the Master Chief. Others recognized wisdom in establishing diplomatic precedent with warriors who'd proven capable of defeating predator hunters. The debate would continue for generations. In Covenant High Charity, the prophets struggled to maintain religious authority, while their best warriors whispered heretical truths about human capability and Forerunner secrets. And on Earth, Master Chief stood before a holographic tactical display showing the Covenant fleet approaching the home system, knowing that the final battles would determine humanity's survival. But the Spartan also knew that when that final test came, there existed warriors among the enemy, and warriors beyond simple classification as enemy, who understood what Master Chief understood: that honor transcended species, that respect could coexist with warfare, and that the universe was complicated enough to contain both bitter enemies and valued adversaries simultaneously. The war would continue, but it would continue with warriors who'd learned that even in apocalyptic conflict, honor remained possible. The multiverse is infinite, and within its endless possibilities, sometimes the most profound moments come not from victory or defeat, but from recognition. The Predators came to the Halo universe seeking the ultimate hunt, expecting to find prey worthy of their skills. What they discovered instead was something more valuable: warriors whose honor matched their own. Master Chief proved that humanity's champions could stand equal to any apex predator the cosmos provided. The Spartans earned respect not through mercy or diplomacy, but through combat prowess that forced even the Yautja to acknowledge their worth. Hachak's defeat became a legend among predator clans, the story of an elder who found prey that transcended simple trophy hunting and became a rival worthy of permanent respect. The Sangheili demonstrated that the Covenant contained warriors who valued honor above blind obedience. Zel Marami and others like him carried knowledge that would eventually fracture the Covenant itself, the understanding that humans were not demons, but adversaries deserving of warriors' respect. Seeds of the Great Schism were planted in those moments when elites fought alongside Spartans against the Flood. The Flood's horror unified three species that should have remained forever enemies. In facing extinction together, human, Covenant, and Predator warriors discovered that some threats transcend territorial wars and species rivalries. The galaxy would remember Installation 04, not just for its destruction, but for the impossible alliance that made that sacrifice meaningful. But perhaps most importantly, the war continued. The Covenant still sought humanity's extinction, the Predators still hunted worthy prey, and humanity still fought desperately for survival. What changed wasn't the war itself, but the warriors' understanding of what they fought. Not simple extermination of inferior beings, but contest between capable adversaries. enemies who could respect each other even as they fought to the death. In the trophy halls of Yautja motherships, markers honored warriors of 3 species who died together with honor. In UNSC archives, classified files documented moments when the enemy proved capable of nobility. In Covenant temples, Sangheili warriors whispered heretical truths about the humans who fought like true warriors. These were the seeds of transformation. Recognition that enemies could be honorable, that war didn't require hatred, and that sometimes the greatest victories came from acknowledging your adversary's worth. The Halo universe had been forever changed by the Predator's arrival, not through conquest or subjugation, but through the introduction of warriors who understood honor in ways that transcended species boundaries. And in the battles yet to come, the fight for Earth, the Great Schism, the final confrontation with the Flood, those lessons of mutual respect would prove more valuable than any weapon technology could provide. Master Chief stood ready for whatever came next, knowing that among the enemies faced, some possessed honor worth acknowledging. Hachak returned to the hunt, carrying wisdom that would reshape Yautja culture's understanding of worthy prey. And Zel Marami continued fighting his holy war while harboring doubts that would one day shatter the Covenant's foundation. The multiverse had brought them together. Honor had forged temporary alliance, and respect, earned through blood and sacrifice, had created bonds more complex than friendship or hatred could define. This was the true nature of the hunt. Not predator versus prey, but warrior recognizing warrior across the vast darkness of space.